minute. Yeah, my soul is minute. Yours counterfeited. I'm way more committed. Forever counterculture. Too alive for vultures. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. Hot tea, cold water. Way too out of order.
Yeah, I see you guys in the house in the Zoom. Big shout out to Doris, Angelina Lynette, Audrey Miller, Erica,
hot tea, cold water.
Kashonda, Kim Blair, see you.
Too often I've seen the
Monique Newman, see you in the house.
People take pride in making nightmares of
Terry
your
Sharp in the building.
So it seems that there are no in-betweens.
Sean McKelly's in the house.
Hold it down the best
just letting know you're here. I'm just waiting for Maria to get in the studio. And then we're gonna get it done. But just so I don't lose you, we in the right place, y'all. We here.
I ain't trying to be cute, I ain't dying to be cute. I need to know who invested in my town going Beirut. Major damage of J-Roo, meaning we gon' damage you. Hidden hand, anyone with a mind can see it's true. Take my lyrics as a clue, I know you know what to do. And with time, I know that you will find that it's in you. Hot tea, cold water. See my spot cemented, like a city block cemented. My soul is minted, yours counterfeit.
Once again, this is the Can't Be Silenced podcast.
Hot tea, cold water.
With your host, Maria Davis and Deneen Womack. We got a big show today.
Shit is way too out of order.
Big shout out to our special guest today, Erica Lucille
it's like
Ewing
hot tea, cold water.
In the building.
Shit is way too out of order.
We got a lot to talk about. Heavy show today.
Protect sons, protect daughters. It's like hot tea, cold water. Check this out, man. Nowadays, everybody got mob ties. Why do we want to be tied to the mob? They send slugs to their people, they send drugs to our people. Is this why we want to be equal? It's getting cloudy, I'm just piercing the fog. That's word to Yafa Bay. I can smell a phony Tony from a block away. I'm so focused. They so bogus, they so bogus. We serve notice that there's evictions coming. You've been afflicted with a sickness, ain't no sense in running. Stand and face your judgment, fuck you and your budget. You can hate it, but you gotta love it. Golden nuggets now, pass the chicken. Finger licking, counting money till they stop the printing. Even if they stop the printing, you see my spot cemented, like a city block cemented. Yeah, my soul is minted, yours counterfeit.
Yes indeed, Deneen Womack is in the building.
Counterculture.
We shaping up right now.
Too alive for vultures. It's like hot tea, cold water.
Half the crew's in the house.
Shit is way too out of order.
Once again, you're in the right place, right time.
Hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. We gotta protect sons, protect daughters. Hot tea, cold water. Too often I've seen the selfish side of things. People take pride in making nightmares of your dreams. So it seems that there are no in-betweens. Draw a line in the sand, hold it down the best you can. As a man, life's much more than getting loot, or a boot you can toot, or a gun you can shoot. To the real I salute, always leading with the truth. However far we gotta troop, we rip the evil from the root. I ain't trying to be cute, I ain't dying to be cute. I need to know who invested in my town going Beirut. Major damage of J-Roo, meaning we gon' damage you. Hidden hand, anyone with a mind can see it's true. Take my lyrics as a clue, I know you know what to do. And with time, I know that you will find that it's in you. Hot tea, cold water. See my spot cemented, like a city block cemented. My soul is minted, yours counterfeit. Skidda from the bled. Enlighten. Hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. Protect sons, protect daughters. It's like hot tea.
That got us through the years.
Big shout out to Deshaun.
The joy our souls felt when we made promises. Just how and when we got here, it's really hard to say.
Welcome, Shaka. We're in the house. I'm just waiting for Marie to get in the studio. We'll be right there in a minute. Just hang out. As soon as she hits the building, she's on her way. We spoke on the phone. We'll be ready to get it done. Got a great show for you all today. A lot of energy. Talking about things. Bear with me, but we're in the studio.
Stay. Please tell me why you won't even try. And I love you, let it pass on by. Your heart's grown so cold, couldn't give to me if you try. And all the tears I've cried, they don't answer why. Thinking how you promised me you would always stay. Now you're gone. Hard for you, hard for you. You walk around like I'm not here. Ooh. So angry that you would throw away our years. There once was love in your eyes. I saw how you cared. You cared. You won't even try. I love you, let it pass on by. Your heart's grown so cold, couldn't give to me. Not if you try. And all the tears I've cried, they don't answer why. Thinking how you promised me you would always stay. Now you're gone, gone. You won't even try. I love you, let it pass on by. Couldn't give to me. Why can't you give to me? Give to me, yeah. And all the tears I've cried, I can't give you up. They don't answer why. Thinking how you promised me you would always stay. Now you're gone. Now you're gone away from me, baby. You just left me.
Yep, welcome Your Highness France. We're in the building, we're working right now. Give me a couple of minutes, Marie will be here in a second. Maria Davis has just entered the building, y'all. Give me a hot second. We're going to get her right in. Maria's in the house. Give me a couple of minutes. We're going to get this thing party started.
Worst traffic.
Services in over 200
Life's much more than getting loot, or a boot you can toot, or a gun you can shoot. To the real I salute, always leading with the truth. However far we got a troop, we rip the evil from the root. I ain't trying to be cute, I ain't dying to be cute. I need to know who invested in my town going Beirut. Major damage of J-Roo, meaning we gon' damage you. Hidden hand, anyone with a mind can see it's true. Take my lyrics as a clue, I know you know what to do. And with time, I know that you will find that it's in you. Hot tea, cold water. My spot cemented, like a city block cemented. My soul is minted, yours counterfeit. Yeah. Skidda from the blitter. Yeah. Enlighten. Hot tea, cold water.
What do they say in Australia? It's like under the party or something like that.
Shit is way too out of order.
We went to that yesterday.
It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order.
Yeah, got on her hot red.
Protect sons, protect daughters.
She came in on fire today.
It's like,
Oh, you got a video music box joint too?
check this out, man.
Oh, me and Uncle Ralph don't have problems.
Nowadays, everybody got mob ties.
Listen, I gotta go online and buy one. Is that what it is?
Yeah, this is a special edition.
Why we wanna be
Oh, see, I'm gonna have to call. I'm gonna have to have Robin pick one up.
That's word to Yafa Bay. I can smell a phony Tony from a block away. I'm so focused, I'm so
Seen the
focused.
documentary yet?
They so bogus, they so bogus. We serve notice that there's evictions coming. You've been afflicted with a sickness, ain't no sense in running. Stand and face your judgment. Fuck you and your budget.
You're the host now.
Hate it, but you gotta love it. Golden nuggets now.
Yeah, I gotta see. You know what? I don't have Showtime.
Money till they stop the printing. Even if they stop the printing, you see my spot cemented like a city block cemented.
HBO?
My soul is minted.
I got HBO. Is it on HBO?
I need me a water too.
Counterculture.
We ain't got no water.
I'll go get you one.
Live for vultures.
Let me get you started, and then we'll get it going.
Yes.
It's like hot tea, cold water.
Oh, not this.
Just pass me those.
They not good.
It's way too
Nah,
out
they good,
of
but those are
order.
better.
Yeah, we like better.
Hot tea, cold water.
Tea, cold water.
Shit is way too out of order.
Yeah, we hear y'all.
We gotta protect sons, protect daughters.
All right.
Hey.
Yeah, Maria's in the house.
It was cold
Hot tea,
outside.
cold water.
Hey, Angelina. Boy,
Too often
In
I've seen
January.
the selfish side of things. People take pride in making nightmares of your dreams.
Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, wherever you are in the world.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna hit the button.
Hit the button.
got this Omicron going
Once again,
How
it
come
is
I
the
only see
Can't
half
Be
of my
Silence.
head?
Oh, no, because you ain't on the screen yet.
Oh.
Well, welcome to the Can't Be Silence podcast. Maria Davis, Deneen Womack, Rock Logic's in the house. We got a live studio audience today with my man Baba T.
Walk.
Straight out of Australia. He's in the building. So we're having a good time. Thank y'all for being patient while we waiting for Maria to get into the house. A lot of traffic out there. It's freezing cold, about 28 degrees in New York City, and it's mostly cloudy. Just to kind of let y'all know what's going on, traffic is evidently crazy going across the Triborough Bridge, which is where Maria was coming from.
Oh, Lord, and Steinway. Y'all need to do a rerouting of Steinway.
Yeah, Steinway's jammed up, ain't it?
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
and then they
yeah.
cuss you out if you got to stop and get out the cab.
Yeah. Welcome to Steinway Street. Very busy street. Once again, I want to thank you guys for being so patient, for waiting, and my
Thank
apologies. Right? So you know what? I'm going to hit the button on the count of 3. Big shout out to Ralph McDaniel's Video Music Box. Apparel is in the house. I don't have one. And bang. I'm going to get it. I'm going to support Uncle Ralph. Because I see how this is going. I got a bull buy one. I got no problem buying one because I have no problem supporting. So it's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's been a big week. For Bulwark Global Media. We started a 24-hour-a-day internet radio broadcast. And every day at 5 o'clock, you can actually hear Maria's shows every day at 5 o'clock. Matter of fact, she's on right now, actually, on the station. And all the other shows that we have, everyone has like a schedule. Maria kicks it off at like 5. My show, The Real Discussion, comes on at 6. Jeff, Perspectively Yours, comes on at 7. Me, Hank, Me People at 8. And One Night Shit at about 9 o'clock. We do our shows on that. And we play lots of music, and we have a good time on that. And with that, further ado, I give you your quiz.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Maria Davis in the house. What's up, Ray?
I need a real singer to do that.
I do the best I can.
Don't ever do that again.
We ain't got a budget.
You gonna scare the people out of the room.
We ain't got a budget.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Happy New Year.
Yes.
This is our first show back. We was out for 2 weeks.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Happy New Year, Maria. I haven't even seen you. I've talked to you on the phone. I haven't seen you.
You on Hip Hop Boulevard down though.
Yeah.
And Gap, representing the Gap. Does that say Gap?
No, this is actually Farrell's Academy, which is a school in the Bronx that we do work in, and they actually gave me one of their jackets.
Oh.
So the P is for Farrell's, and it's 2020.
Oh.
So they gave me a jacket. Yeah, they doused me in apparel. I have the sweatshirt on, and you know,
all right.
Yeah, and the sweatshirt says I'm a senior, and I didn't know how to take that, but
But you know they mean senior out of high school.
Yeah, I know.
But senior on you.
Yeah, it's senior.
You know
what
you
I'm
ain't
saying?
out of high school.
Different kind of senior.
Yeah,
Right.
different kind of senior. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Maria, what's going on? How you
A
been?
lot of stuff going on in the world. We want to give our condolences to my family. James M. Tume passed away yesterday in the morning. So we want to definitely, I'll be with the family tomorrow, but we want to definitely give our condolences to the entire music industry world. Reggie Lucas's writing partner is gone also. Wow. So he wrote for a lot of people. Just Google him. He was with Miles Davis, Roberta Flack, Howard King, the drummer. Also, shout out to him. Howard also had a very serious accident years ago, so he's been paralyzed for these last decade, I want to say. But he's still alive and kicking, and we're happy for him. Matter of fact, I need to call him tomorrow now, because we're all going to be getting together for James M. Tume. Phenomenal. He was on Open Line with Bob Sled, Judge Pickett, and
Many years.
and Nan, the head of Nan.
Al Sharpton?
Yes, I forgot. I did a brain sleep. Right. Ask him my name.
I will. I'll be like, what's Maria Davis' name, Al?
Right. Hello.
I was like, oh,
Better
okay.
be glad I said his name. Hello.
Hey, I'm just saying.
So, Open Line. Shout out to brother Fatin.
Brother Fatin Muhammad.
Yep, Fatin Muhammad, who was the producer of Open Line, is still on now. I found out from Deneen. Is still online. So is Jennifer Austin Jones? She's still one of the hosts?
I believe so.
Jennifer Austin Jones. She's powerful, incredible woman. And we want to shout out Allison Williams, who is off of the ICU alert. She's calling us now.
Okay. Nice.
Telling us about her incredible journey in and out of being in a coma. So that's getting ready to be a play for her.
Oh, wow. And you know what? You need to come on the show.
Yeah.
You always want to talk to people like that. 'Cause
Yeah.
They kind of seen something a little different.
She told me on the phone. She felt our prayers. She was clicking her heels 2 times saying, I want to come home. And that's Allison. I cannot wait to see what she's going to produce out of this, because it's going to be something crazy.
Yeah, that's one hell of an inspiration.
Yeah, one hell of an inspiration. And also the comedian, they just passed away. They found
Bob Saget.
Yeah, Bob Saget. They
Full
found
House.
him. Yes, in Full House. And we cannot.
Jesse D from the Force MD.
Sidney Poitier.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely, sure.
Icon. I used to love to watch the Lily of the Fields with the nuns.
Yeah,
Remember, he was the nun that was doing the work on the church.
Yep.
And started singing, Amen. Amen.
See, I got it.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
man. Everybody now.
Yeah,
Okay.
but he taught them how to do it with some soul.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay, so he had to kind of direct them.
They need to do the whole Sidney Poitier throwback.
Yeah.
Guess who's
definitely.
coming to dinner?
Sure. Porgy and Bess.
Porgy and Bess.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. I mean-
And he was connected to Gordon Parks Jr.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's how he
Okay.
got it. That's how he started his career through
Gordon Parks from Shaft.
Gordon, yes, same Gordon Parks.
Same one. That took the picture, and yeah.
And the Learning Tree, the book Learning Tree.
Right.
And it was a movie also.
Okay, that's right.
Actually, with the man that does the commercials all the time. What's his name? Oh, my goodness. He was in Waiting to Exhale, actually, too.
Dennis Haybird.
Yeah, I think that's him.
You know, Denise know everybody. She's like
So-
Google of people.
We want to also shout out DJ K. Slay. From my understanding, he's doing
Yeah.
much
Is he doing
better.
much better?
Yes, he's doing better. He was incubated, but from my understanding, he's off of
Got out of it.
incubation. Kid Capri also.
Right. How's he
COVID.
doing?
He's doing. My last report, he was struggling. So
Okay. All right.
we're praying that he's doing better also.
Okay. Yeah.
So we want to say to our family, take this virus very serious. It does not care who you are, what you are, how much money you have. You have to really, if you don't want to take the vaccine, I'm vaccinated, I'm boosted.
Right.
And if you don't want to take the vaccine and you don't want to get boosted, you need to take hold of your health.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because COVID doesn't attack you personally. It attacks whatever your health challenges are. So if you're diabetic, if you have high blood pressure, if you have COPD, if you have any lung disease, it would become very serious. Something light to us is serious to somebody else who have a health problem. So we want to say that. And they got a new strain coming out of France now. It's the flu and COVID mixed together.
Right, it's the Flurona. Flurona, that's what it's called.
People are like, oh, they're coming up. But that's how viruses do.
Yeah, they mutate.
They mutate according to its situation. So y'all be careful and be safe out there in them streets, wherever you are. But we have a very dynamic individual today on the show.
I read a little bit of a bio.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Yes. So she's my faith sister from First Corinthian Baptist Church. But I've known Erica for a very long time. She is great on everything she does. She's passionate. She loves the community. She loves women. She fights for women's rights. And so I'm going to read a little bit about Erica. Lucille Ewing is a social impact entrepreneur, fashion designer, activist, and actor. Erica grew up in Westbury, New York, but later on moved to Harlem, where she has lived for the past 22 years. Erica holds a Bachelor's of Arts from Smith College and a Master of Fine Arts in Theater Arts from Rutgers University. She is a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. In 2018, Erica started Got to Stop LLC, a social impact consulting company committed to advocacy, education, and social justice reform. Combining her skills as a fashion designer and community activist, Erica launched the Got to Stop social impact fashion brand to spark awareness and ignite critical conversations about injustice, systematic racism, and oppression. In 2019, she co-organized and produced the Black Lives Matter mural in Harlem, which I partaked in, and it was excellent. Erica believes in the power of the arts to heal, unite, and be a catalyst for social justice change and transformation. Gotta Stop is not a movement, it's a lifestyle. Ladies and gentlemen, my sister, the hardest working woman besides me, Erica Lucille Ewing.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much, Maria. I just want to say this. Maria Davis, her and I came across paths definitely in church, but we were on the grounds working with our youth when we started the Dream Center, and I was on the advisory council. And every time I would see Maria out there with her table, and she was always with the community, I said, that's exactly the kind of work I have to be doing. And every time I needed something with the youth, she was there. Anytime I need her, even now, she's there. And so she's just been a champion for the work that I've been doing, and she's seen me grow, and I'm inspired by her work and her growth. So thank you so much, Maria, for bringing me on the show.
Welcome, you're welcome. I'm excited.
And I do have to give a shout out to my sorors, the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Yes.
The New York Alumni Chapter, who are on the call. Also, Mr. Logan. He is an Omega Psi Phi, but he's been a champion of my work since we met. I have some other partners on the call: Angelina Rosado, Shamara Kelly. We work on Waking Up the World, the whole entire movement, lifestyle actually change on domestic violence. And the laws that surround this. So these are my partners. These are the people that I work with. And I'm just so happy that they got on the call this late in advance. I just called them and they said yes. Kim Blair, people are at work and they're like, I'm going to log on. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to Deltas.
Hey, Mr. Logan. Mr. Logan, we heard when you said, can't get away from them Deltas. I had the mic up for that second.
Listen, I just want to say hello to Miss Davis. Miss Davis knows me real well.
Uh-oh. We didn't date back in the day, did we?
Miss Davis, come on, look at me. Look at me from 1 Corinthians. Look at me.
Oh, Lord. Where you been?
Oh,
The
Lord,
church is in the house.
Right, where I've been.
Where have you been?
I've been here.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
They all could
You
sing
see me
amen.
now.
Okay,
we gotta
that's
have
good.
the church
he
up
said,
in here.
he said, you see me now. You are right. How are you? Happy New Year, everyone.
I'm fine. And I used to always be out there with her getting people when we walked around Central Park.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. AIDS walk. All y'all walked with me in the AIDS walk, including Erica
That's
too.
right.
You know, I be dragging people, and then I be looking at them like, you ain't walking? What? I got the
Yeah,
boss
she
cologne.
will drag you. She'll drag you.
So listen, Erica, dang, we got so much to talk about. So let's talk about, you have a blue background. Let's talk about that first. So we could promote tomorrow for what people can do for tomorrow.
So tomorrow, well, as you know, January, if you don't know, is National Human Trafficking Awareness and Prevention Month. And all throughout the month of January, we are asking people to wear the color blue. That is the national color for human trafficking. It's in really a navy blue, so the darker blue, but any blue will do. And so for my campaign, I'm launching 2 campaigns with 2 different organizations. I'm launching the Wear Blue, We Gotta Stop, and I'm launching DST, New York Alumni Chapter Wears Blue. So there's 2 different campaigns. We want you to wear blue, say a statement about human trafficking. If you don't know anything about human trafficking, let's just define it, okay? Because I want to define it just textbook. Human trafficking involves the use of force, fraud, or coercion to obtain some type of labor or commercial sex act. And when we talk about coercion, people say, what do you mean I was coerced to do something? Coercion is a threat or intimidation. And the threats of coercion are not just, oh, I'm going to tell your mother, but for a kid that's 12 years old, that's a big deal. Right? I'm going to tell your mother, your grandmother, I'm going to tell the pastor, I have a video of you, and I'm going to tell. That's a big deal. Or I'm going to kill your family. That's a huge deal. Or I'm going to frame you, set you up, and then I'm going to put the fall on you. So that is a very, very, very strong word, and people get it very twisted. It's not simple, because when you're putting your critical thinking mind, if it's between telling my grandmother and doing this thing for you, I might just do this thing for you. But how many times do I do that? And what does it cost? And what are you asking me to do? All right. Killing your family is very real. And they do kill you. This is a multi-million-dollar billion business. It's a billionaire business. Okay. So when you think about trafficking, it is a business. And the business is selling bodies. Bodies to do what? Either labor or commercial sex acts. So this is the thing. The reason why human trafficking is so pervasive in our communities, not just overseas, but right here in your community, in your backyard, in your home, in your apartment building, on your street, is because you don't have to grow this product and ship it anywhere. A baby is born every second of the day. And that is my product. That's the product. They walk around. And so what I do to gather my product, I can snatch you up the street. I can use coercion or force or fraud to bring you in. So it's very important that we do not think about this as this is something you willingly went to go do. And we have to also question, what is willingly go do? What were the stakes? What was at stake for you to do what you're doing? And I want to really make sure people understand that there's different ways to get into commercial sex trafficking, and labor trafficking as well. But I'm going to start here to tell you that Maria, some of the work that I did when I got involved in 2000, I believe like 15 with this when I was with Black Lives Matter. Remember, I was the chief of staff for
Right.
Black Lives Matter Greater New York. I'm the one that spearheaded the first Find Our Girls March. And so it was the women of that quote unquote movement. And that's why now I'm a lifestyle. I'm not a movement, baby. We doing changing lives now. That we said, what's happening? Why isn't anybody talking about it? If we're saying Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, and our bodies matter, and our Black girls matter, and our families matter, and our boys matter. Our LGBTQ community matters, right? And so bringing this out, it was almost a taboo, right? Because it was almost like, oh, that's just, hey, that people sell sex. This is prostitution. It's been going on for a long time. Well, they've turned prostitution, and if you think about why does people prostitute, there was a reason. People prostitute because they had no money. It was survival.
Right.
And in this work, you talk about survival sex. Some people are out on the street and they have to have sex for money to survive. Unfortunately, in trafficking, you don't get the money. It's not about you getting money.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Your money, it's not your money, you're a product. Does a hamburger get the dollar or the hamburger is eaten? You buy a hamburger gets nothing for that. It's devoured, it's digested, right? And then it's eliminated. Think about that. That's the human product of trafficking. Devoured, destroyed, eliminated, erased. And so we've got to understand that bodies become products. They become commodities. And so when people say, well, how do you get into this? This is when we were saying, for us, it's about prevention and awareness. It is about understanding your surroundings. It is about understanding that every story and journey is different. However, there's something you can glean from every story you hear, right? So that's what we call that wisdom. So I'm going to just name them. So why am I naming them? I'm naming them from a curriculum that I co-wrote with some contributors who are survivors of and thrivers of trafficking, as well as social workers, trauma psychologists, and people working all over the globe. So it's with a group called Unitas. And we wrote a curriculum that is actually, we finally got it in the public schools. So while COVID was going on, we were still doing curriculum in the schools. The team was still doing the work and was doing it via Zoom. So I'm very proud of that. And that was also the work of me going to the UFT and saying to the UFT, we need a resolution on trafficking, that all teachers will be trained in human trafficking prevention. And that happened in 2019 when I did that, right? And we got that accomplished. So here's how we get into trafficking. False promises. We've heard about the R. Kelly record deal. False promise. Sextortion. This is really, really interesting. You know, when we got these kids taking pictures of each other and all these videotaping and OnlyFans. Well, people use that to incriminate you. It's like, I have a videotape now and I will show it and I will sell it. But guess what? You can't do anything about that. You did it. You took the video. I mean, hey, you were willing then. Okay. Or you might not be willing. You may not even know you were videotaped or that this relationship was going to be exploited in some way. Labor trafficking. Of course, you hear about the immigrant population coming to America on a false promise. So it could be a couple intersections, right? You're going to come here to go to school. You're going to come here to be a nanny. And then all of a sudden, you're not even paid a wage, right? Or you hear about the braid salons, where if you see young girls in a braid salon at look like they're 16, 17, 18, and it's during school time, you're asking, why are they in a braid shop and not in school? Because sometimes they come here for labor. They're not going to go to school. They're not going to be able to. That was the promise. You're going to come to school. You're going to work. You're going to send money home for the family. And people have already sold them off to make a certain quota. And most of the time, unless you make that quota, you cannot be free. You cannot go. And usually that doesn't even happen. But there's a certain bargaining that had gone on. Familial trafficking. And this is where I will be honest. This is where I step in with trafficking and why I'm so passionate. Maria, I told you this all the time. People don't like me talking about this, but my uncles had a brothel in Harlem. They were traffickers. 123rd Street, between 7th and 8th. I didn't know. What I did know was I asked a couple times, what are you doing? What do y'all do for a living? Why are all these women in the house? We owned the whole brownstone. My grandmother had a brownstone. And they said, we're secretaries. But it was the one day, there was 2 days that happened that really clicked to me, that started asking more questions because they would call me precocious. One, I asked, what do you do for a living? They told us they were secretaries, they were going out at night. But the next day, that same girl that went out that night came back with a black eye and a broke arm. And what happened, Maria? No one talked about it. No one asked, was she okay? All I saw was my grandmother giving her a piece of steak to put over her eye. And the next thing you know, she was told to take us to the park. You heard me. She was told to take us to Mount Morris Park and walk the dog. She made a sling for her arm. She had a black eye. And this was a white woman, a young white woman. Second clue, 14 years old, sitting on a brownstone waiting for my grandmother. No one's home but the dog, the family dog. Man comes up, what are you doing? He comes asking me, where's everybody? He's kind of calling on my uncle's street names. I had 5 uncles here in Harlem. And next thing you know, I said, they're not home. He kept approaching the step. I didn't know what was going on. By the time he approached that last step to grab me, because he put his arms out, that dog came down from the spiral staircase in the brownstone, pinned him up against the Rolls Royce in front of the house, because we had cars. My uncles had cars. They're very sophisticated. It was a business, right? I started understanding. And he pinned him up and he said, nah, man, she not one of the girls. What were you doing? I had to ask about that later until I come to working in schools in New York with the arts and education piece and social justice. And I'm starting to see some patterns of children and youth and things not adding up. And then a friend of ours, a soror of ours, had a daughter who was involved. And now I start going to training, Maria, and start learning what I was living in, familial trafficking. They didn't call it that. And then having to have that hard conversation with my family and said, did you know and what did you do about it? And why is our family so disjointed? And we got new aunts every week. We got new cousins every week. And some people I haven't seen. I don't even know. Some people I haven't even seen, Maria, in years. But they were my cousins at that time. So familial trafficking is real. It's generational. People don't talk about it because guess what? They're not doing it. Or they're complicit, though, right, in it. They're complicit because they're going to turn their back. So no one talks about that black eye. We normalize that, right? And a kid like me is like, something's wrong. Something's wrong. I'm coming from Long Island. I'm commuting all the time to Harlem on the weekends for church, grandma every week, getting my hair done. And I'm starting to put these things together. And it wasn't until an adult, I had a complete breakdown, Maria. And I said, I got to do something about this on my own spirit, on my own spirit, because it was on my watch and I couldn't do anything about it. And why wasn't I chosen? They didn't bother me, but they bothered them. And I started getting into, well, what makes a person want to go traffic somebody? Well, I learned this. By the grace of God, there go I.
Yes, all of us. All of us.
That's all of us.
All
Anybody
of us.
can be trafficked. It doesn't matter where you come from.
Did your
You can be
family
coerced.
ever get caught?
No. How you get caught? How do you get caught with that?
Does anybody
remember, it's
report
bodies.
it or?
Nope. People don't
How
even
you get
talk
caught?
about human trafficking.
How you
This-
get caught?
Right.
What we gonna catch? What you gonna? They're dead, first of all. So that guy got them. If we're gonna talk about that part. But when I talked to my aunt who just died, the last one that I know of and was in touch with, she said, "Listen," she did tell me this. She said, "Your mother was always trying to get us out. She said, and she told me the happiest time in her life. Listen to this. Happiest times in their lives was when they would come to Long Island for our family barbecues because they wouldn't get beat and they didn't have to work." So
That's
I
deep.
represented something good to them. They treated me so well. I was in boudoirs with lingerie. Maria, I thought I was like in a playland when I used to go to Brownstone and see all these clothes and all this glamour stuff. I never even put it together. And then you see movies like Superfly, and it seems like it's pretty much that's the life, right? Cars, motorcycles, dogs, women. But we were church-going people. Okay. And so that's what they do. That's not what you do, but
Right,
you're all
right.
part of it. And the other thing is pimp deterrence. So, you get approached. You get approached by someone when they see you in a desperate situation. I always tell people when I go to McDonald's, I hate that dollar menu. I hate that dollar menu because seen kids struggle. So I was going to the dentist every week, and everybody knows this. Most of the people on the call know about my accident. I was going to the dentist every week, and I would see the same kids in McDonald's. and they would struggle to buy something for $1. But I could have been that adult that said, I'll buy it for you. But I could also have been that adult that said, now you owe me.
Right.
You understand what's happening here? This is a problem. How it happens, it becomes an innocent, they build a relationship with you, a relationship that's stronger than you could ever imagine, than your parents. Because what they have said in interviews, I can listen for your child without interruption for 3 hours. Can you?
So how
Can
do
you?
we get involved? How do we recognize it? What can we do?
You got to go to training. I mean, there are free trainings all over the city. If you look up human trafficking training, you will see trainings everywhere. I used to do a training pre-COVID, and now we're considering doing a training now through, Zoom. But I worked with trainers, people from the Office of Family Services, right? I work with trauma psychologists and then also vetted organizations and bringing survivors into the conversation. It is something that we have to constantly have a conversation about. And because the methods of trafficking and the ways that they bring you in changes all the time. The game changes.
Ever evolving.
It used to be pizza. Pizza was the word. You gonna buy some pizza? Pizza didn't mean pizza. So depending on where you live, your region, your state, your neighborhood, it's all different. It's all different. The language, the lingo, it all changes. But the thing is still similar. It's still the same thing that's happening.
But don't they, this is a time that they play on young people's weaknesses too. Young kids that may have problems at home and don't feel loved. That's what Ruthie Lowe Tuitt said. Don't feel loved. Hey, June. Don't feel loved. So that individuals, just like the gangs too, how they get the kids to join the gang. You got a struggling mother, the father's not home, or maybe the father and the mother are home, but they are working all the time and that child feels left out. And this is how these predators are able to come in to the family and persuade these children that the word is love.
Yeah.
Pizza and love.
And also everybody wants to belong. Even adults want to belong,
Yes.
right? And so I look at the candy crews differently. Once you get trained, you start looking at the candy crews differently. You look at nail salons and tattoo parlors differently, braid salons differently, and those corner stores. I stopped the corner store on your block, Maria, from calling these little kids baby and mommy. And mama.
Right.
That's not your baby and that's not your mama. And no Halloween candy is not going to be for free.
Yeah.
Because I saw a young girl come out from back of that counter one day and was going off about her friend. And I said, y'all doing trafficking? I even asked him. And they got quiet. Because remember, before there was a whole incident with the phones where kids couldn't bring their phones into school, and what was happening when FBI were finding out and survivors were talking and organizations were tuning in now, they were taking the phones and holding it for kids, but charging them $1 a day.
Right.
Well, what 9-year-old can afford that bill at the end of a month? That's when you owe me. Right. And so the age of trafficking got younger and younger and younger, and they use the peer group to lure them in as well. So now, with COVID, Cash App. People are like, oh, it's my birthday. Let me get that Cash App. You don't know where that money's coming from.
Absolutely.
So here you go. You took this money. You went to the store. You went on Amazon. You did your thing. And now they're like, I gave you that money. So when you going to see me?
Absolutely.
So, and now do you want to tell your parents? It becomes, it gets more and more. Or you're on that video game. You don't know who you're talking to. Right? And then you find out this is like a 63-year-old man. And some of my friends who've gone to training stuff say, I got to know, I want to see the person you're talking to. If I can't see them, you can't talk to them and play games with them.
But that's how we grew up back in the day. Like I didn't spend the night at nobody's house. My mother's like, oh no, I don't know where they parents, who their parents are. You cannot spend the night. If you want to play with them outside, you can, but you ain't spending the night here. And
right.
This is some of the things, because now we have the internet, and the internet, people don't understand. Predators can find your children from their iPads, and we giving kids the phones, and we're making them more adults than they need to be. Children traveling with phones all over the place. They know how to operate the phone. You got to be in their laptop. Sometimes I give my grandbaby my phone, and I'm like, what the heck what? Why are you watching that? It look like kids' cartoons, but it's grown up. Folks punching each other in the eye, and I was like, what kind of cartoons is this? So
they want,
we have
to attack on your children.
Right. We have to really really be focused on our children. But I don't understand, why haven't we talked about human trafficking? We don't talk about it enough. We talk about domestic violence, but we don't talk about human trafficking. And the one thing, I don't know if everybody remember when all them Atlanta black young girls was missing?
There's a lot of girls missing now.
Yeah, nobody.
In New Jersey and New York, a lot of girls are missing.
Now let a Caucasian woman go missing.
The
They
whole
shut
country.
The whole
Country down.
But Maria, you got to think about this. This is the thing about us in our community, right? We still have not reckoned with the pimp prostitution paradigm. Okay, some people are still not ready to hear that, right? They pimping, they tricking. That's what the language is. That's what they doing. You know what I mean? That's what they do to make their money. You know, I run drugs. This is what you do. You know, it's like whatever the hustle. That's one thing. So we got to come to reckon and say and be honest about and take accountability, right, for what's really happening. But the other thing is when our girls go missing, first, they're called runaways. That's the lingo. They ran away.
Right.
And they're fast girl, or this boy want to be in the street, or all these things, and that's not the case. They're running from something some of the time. Most of the time, they're running from something in their home that already occurred.
Right.
So when you look at the statistics, some of them had already been sexually abused and exposed to abuse and that trauma beforehand. So guess what happens? As trauma continues, it does physically impact your brain.
Yes.
And now you've normalized it. So for example, Maria, you and I might not go into Mount Morris Park at 4:00 in the morning.
Absolutely not.
But guess what? A kid that doesn't have the cognitive development, the frontal lobe is not developed, and has been through trauma goes, I'm not afraid of the dark. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
They've normalized that spook. They're okay to somebody coming around the corner doing this and that and the third. It's normalized. So there's a preconditioning a lot of times to be exploited and exploitation. And we have to heal that in our community.
Yes, we do.
No, we should not be sending some of our kids to the store, okay, late at night. We do it. Go get that milk. But what did they see on their way to getting the milk?
Absolutely, yeah.
What did they hear? And what are they exposed to?
And who was talking to them?
Who's talking to them? Who's watching them? They watch a kid go out every day at 11 o'clock. You know, it's a ritual. I can get that kid. And then, you know, you have one little argument with your family, you storm out the house, somebody sees you, they're picked up quickly. It's like seconds. It's seconds. Traffickers come in seconds. They don't come in, you know, but they will wait to season you. We've used different words in training. You don't say grooming anymore because that sounds like a dog, right? But they wait to figure out to build that relationship. It's like a seasoning, they call it, right, in the training world. But they want to know who they're getting and what they can use against you. It's everything they can use against you to keep you in that situation. And to make you think that this is what you want.
I want to hold that for a minute. I want to talk to you about you.
Oh,
where you were raised. You know, we so passionate about what we do. People don't get us. People sometimes don't get an insight to who we are and how we were developed to be able to do the work that we do in the community. How was your childhood? How was you growing up? Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Westbury, New York. That's home of Dr. Dre, if y'all know Dr. Dre. And Long Island is a very different type of place. If you think about it like boroughs, we have all our different communities on Long Island. You got Freeport, you got the Hempstead, you got the Westburys, and there was a lot of rivalries. We were always trying to be down with Queens and Brooklyn, but we had our own thing going on, our own music and our own pulse, but we also are very segregated. It's a very segregated community. Even if you lived in a Black community, within that was the segregation between the middle class, the lower class, the working class. Very, very segregated, but we all went to the same school. Mm-hmm. So there's where we come together, where you're gonna see people come in with no shoes on because they just came from Haiti. Where they're not wearing stockings in the winter when we're all in the winter, right? And so I started seeing all those differences because I took French class. See, on Long Island, we had a major Haitian community. We do have a major Latino community, Latinx community, but when I was going in Westbury specifically, it was a major Haitian community. And learning French, I was in the class like, oh, you want to go in this class with those stinky kids? They stink. They this, that, and the third. And I just learned so much about what they were going through as being new to this country, the things they had to learn, how the French teacher took her under the wing to talk about deodorant, talk about hygiene, talk about what you can wear, what's appropriate, or giving them clothes. So seeing that happen in a high school and junior high school environment, that's profound, right? Because I could have been in the Spanish class and that was the cool class. But this was not the cool class. I'm not a cool person. I'm not the cool girl. I'm not the it girl. I'm going to be where I'm going to be. And then artistically, I was always in theater. And Maria, when I went to school, I was going to change the world through art. Art going to heal everybody, you know? And when I got my master's in fine arts, I came out doing soap operas, doing work, and still seeing that I'm even watching in this industry, the exploitation, and I was exploited.
Yes.
And we can have that in a different discussion. But those types of experiences can really change the way you want to think about how you want to move. And so it's so funny that when I come around to my activism, and then I'm seen on Just Like That, as Just Like That was a new show that Sarah Jessica Parker resurrected from Sex and the City. And I was called to do some background work, right, Maria? Next thing you know, I'm being featured. People call me like, I see you. I said, that's confirmation. God just want to let you know, he ain't forgot about that one either, right?
So you worked on
want to
the
do a
soap
lot of different
operas?
things.
You worked on soap opera?
She done did everything,
yeah.
girl.
All My Children, As the World Turns. I played, remember Jesse's story? Not Jesse.
Angie and Jesse?
No, the other guy. So
She ain't that old.
who played Kizzy? Who played Kizzy in The Roots? Who's that actress? Come on, y'all know this
Come on,
actress.
Deneen.
Right, Deneen, you know everything.
Who's the original Kizzy?
Cicely Tyson.
Cicely Tyson.
No, Sicily wasn't. No, Sicily wasn't Kizzy.
Leslie
before
Uggam.
that.
Leslie Uggams. There you
So
go.
Leslie and Uggam and I played an undercover cop. So I had to be her double to do like a shooting thing, right?
Oh, you do
So
look kind of like Leslie Uggams. Oh, that's true.
So Leslie Uggams and I worked together. I worked with Sanaa Latham's mom in plays, Linda Gravatt, Steve Henderson, because he does a lot of August Wilson stuff.
Yes.
I did that, with Hal up in Hal Scott, big time August Wilson person. August only entrusted a certain amount of people to do his work, and so I've been doing that for a minute, right? I did some hosting. I've done shows. I've interviewed Kelly Price. You can see all these things, but you know what it means to me? It really came to a halt of saying, I can hustle, but what's my life going to be worth? Because when I had an accident in 2017, Maria, that accident shaped my life.
Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself, whoever's talking. Sorry.
Mr. Logan.
So going to graduate school, going to these schools, doing all these things, being around all these people, and then all of a sudden I have an accident in 2017 and I lost all 6 of my teeth, 6.5 teeth. And I wasn't driving. I was in a cab that hit a cab right there on Lenox Avenue. And that's when Gotta Stop started. Because what legacy am I going to leave? I can do a whole lot of things. You can see me marching, but I just really needed to make sure that this social good was going to be social good in everything, social investment. You know, that anything that you buy from me, anything you get from me, it's going to be a good investment. That this is sustainable fashion. It's social capitalistic fashion, because when you buy it, it's something that you put back good in the world. That's how I'm able to fund and give a check, Maria, when we needed to do a project and we got to get an artist and we know we got to pay them. You know what I mean? Like, how do you do these things? And so really, I called it trauma, spelled backwards is AMU art. It's my ammunition for art. I couldn't speak for 8 weeks, Maria. I don't know if they told you. I couldn't speak for.
I did not know that.
I couldn't speak. So when I couldn't speak, that's when I started to create. And I started creating digitally and started drawing and started getting. And I said, this is what injustice. All these words start popping up and all these things. And I was like a stop sign. And there's the birth of that. So it came out of couldn't speak. What could I do? What do I leave? So that's big. So for me to even go back on a show after all these years, I didn't know I could ever even speak on a podcast, Maria. I had to teach myself how to speak again.
I did not know that, Erica. And I've been knowing you way before 2017.
Because you know what happened, Maria? Just like you and I, you just keep on moving. People don't ask you how you're doing. They don't know. You know, some of these people on the call know when I go to dentist appointment, it's very traumatic. They know that I'm like, I didn't even ask this accident. I'm in a cab doing the right thing. It's a cab. How does that happen? You know what I mean? Freak accident. But
those are the moments that God used the best.
There you go. So I just have to say, I got to count it all as a blessing. Yes. And I have to say, with that, it makes me move a little slower, makes me listen a little bit more, right? And makes me really be in tune to people and what their need is. And that's why social impact is about now. If you call me and you say you need something, Maria, you know we do now. We don't do tomorrow.
Yes, you sure do. You do.
We do now. I call Angelina, say, Angelina, I have somebody that's going through a domestic violence crisis. What do? She's on the phone now.
Right.
Call Shamar, we're on the phone now.
Right.
And these are the kind of partners that I work with, that this is not about. We don't delay in helping people, and so that's why I work with vetted organizations like Returning Hope, Inc., the Voices of Women, Black Families United, so that we can really be boots on the ground and put our hands and touch people. Because that's what they want to do. Like you said, love, they want to be touched. They want to be touched, and they want to feel like they can trust you and that they're safe. And the thing about it is, no matter what situation you're in, my mother always says you got 3 conditions. You're either in something, getting out of something, or on your way to something.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it. You either so you live in a big life, you on your way, you in the valley, or you're out.
Right.
But at each time, like you say, they're all blessings in whatever space that we're in. And talking about myself is difficult because it's like people say, oh, you had it great. No, actually, I didn't have it great. What I had parents that made a decision and they planned me out, except for me being born on Christmas. They planned everything. They ain't planned. I came 3 weeks early when my mother was putting a turkey in the oven. Okay, so
you were born on Christmas, Erica?
Christmas Day, I ruined my brother's Christmas. I ruined it because he had to leave and go to the babysitter with his one toy. He had to pick and wait till my grandmother came from Harlem to get him. And then they put me on the tree, and I told my mother, that's so inhumane. You put me on the tree for days when you came out the hospital. She's like, oh, no, you had a crib. I said, Mom, I know I didn't have a crib because you didn't plan for me. You know what I mean? I know you.
You know? Funny. That is funny.
Maria, listen, I have it so that why I don't talk about me. I found out last year, I looked at my picture for my 1-year-old birthday party. I'm born Christmas Day. Why am I wearing a violet sundress and a big happy birthday hat that's going crooked? I said, Mom, I was born. I said, was it hot? Were we in Hawaii? Oh, I forgot it was Christmas. So I had to just stage a 1-year-old birthday party. I said, that is so wrong. She said, I didn't think you'll ever find out. I was like, Mom, I'm looking at these pictures. You forgot. So people do forget, and I just roll with it. You know what I mean? But a lot of people bless me and say happy birthday and know that that's what it is.
And you only get one gift.
No, I don't. That's a lie.
do they give you gifts? Like they give you a birthday gift and a Christmas
Erica
gift?
ain't gonna let them give her one gift.
And you know what else I did for myself? Pre-COVID, I gave myself a birthday party, and I did it before Christmas or after because I knew Christmas was a hard time for people because some people lost people. Christmas wasn't a good holiday for other various reasons. So I'm just sensitive about people on Christmas because it could mean so many different things.
Yeah.
So I would do it a week before or after, before New Year's. But pre-COVID, I'm not getting the Omicron Pi Delta Rho virus. Yes. So I'm done with that.
Yeah. And you ain't invite me to the damn party. What happened?
I always invite you, Maria. Maria, you always get.
Girl, you got to stop putting me Facebook invites. You got to call me personally.
That's right. I do need to call people personally. Sometimes I'm like, they're so busy. They're so busy. But Maria, I think the question I always have for us as activists and doing community work is I'm always trying to work on my self-care and balance.
So what do you do for your self-care?
Yeah, what do you do? That's all right. That's a good question because I don't never see her stopping. She got to stop.
So there's a couple things. So I've set myself up with aromatherapy. I think last year I put a blog out where I changed my entire apartment into a sanctuary. I did that for myself to create a haven so that when I hit the door after you've been on the street, it's like I can feel safe in my own home. So James Baldwin's on my wall, my own pictures, my own artwork is on my wall, aromatherapy. I do have a therapist. I don't play with that because therapy is good. I believe in it. It's helpful. And that's what I do. But I also figure out quiet time. I start writing. So what I've been doing now is when emotions come up, like say the verdict for,
Ahmaud Arbery.
Ahmaud Arbery, and the other one before that.
George Floyd?
The kid that went to shoot people on the night of the riot.
What's his name? Yeah,
Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse, because they let him off.
I have to write things down to get my thoughts together. I have to start writing it out, what I think, what I feel, because people want you to speak on something, but sometimes you have to be slow to speak.
Yes.
And you got to start to listen. So what I do is I just slow myself down. Now, that may not be so great because I pull back, people think I ghosted them, and I don't mean to ghost them, but sometimes I just have to pull back a minute and make sure that what I want is what the people want, not I'm pushing the people, right? Because we can get so caught up, and if that's not what they wanted, they're not ready for it, especially in the work that you do with people, it's not effective. You want to be impactful and effective at the same time of pushing the agenda forward, like a law changed or whatever else needs to happen.
Oh, okay. All right.
What do you do for your self-care, Maria?
Listen to you.
Maria get her hair done and her nails done and her
I
eyelashes
keep
on.
my hair done, and my eyelashes on. I stop the world for my eyelashes for that one strip, for them 2 strip of eyelash. But I need some more stuff. I need to go to a group therapist or something.
Therapy's good, Maria.
Working with Rock Logic and Broad Rock Media. It's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure in this room.
Drives you to therapy.
Drives me to therapy.
Damn. I didn't know we was that hard around here.
Right. Where's Lays at? We need Lays on the line.
Yeah,
We need Lays on the line because he be asking good questions.
Yeah, I just left him a little while ago. We was together all day. We was working.
Is he over his Omicron?
He's coming out of it. Yeah. I mean, he's negative.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was jacked up. He had the Omicron going. It was hardcore. Yeah. So because the show's also about domestic violence. Am I accurate in that?
Yeah.
She fights all of that, right?
She fights all of that, but human trafficking.
And I'm a survivor of domestic violence.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the really real thing that I really want to talk about, the human trafficking, because we don't have enough of that in our conversations.
Right.
Not at all.
No, not and even like a lot of perspectives that you brought to the table, I didn't really realize it was like that. And then you showed like how people get hooked into it, how you hook children into it. And ironically enough, I saw a documentary the other day. It's about the Times Square serial killer. Do you guys know about that? There was a guy in 78 or 79, right after the Son of Sam, who was actually targeting sex workers. And his whole thing was he would like cut their heads off and their hands off so you couldn't identify them. And he did this over a course from 73 till about 1980. He did this. But one of the things that you mentioned was his ability to hook them in, to get them to go with him. And then also in that situation, one of the women actually talked about her being 12 years old and her, her pimp, Moses, bringing her to Times Square to work from the time she was 12 years old until she was about 19, 20 years old.
Get out.
That she was, yeah. Very, very heavy documentary if you get a chance to see
I got to watch that.
What is it called?
It's called the Times Square Murders or the Times Square Killer, and it's on Netflix. It's actually on Netflix.
Wow.
And it deals with a lot of the stuff that you're talking about. And one of the things, this guy was a computer analyst. He was a regular guy, right? And I think we have to understand that predators, it's not like they're mean people.
Nope.
On the they draw you in with that kindness.
Yep, and they're women too. Remember,
right,
women
and they're women too that draw you in with that kindness. You think that they have your well-being at hand. Right, and then you trust them, and then you're going deeper and deeper into a rabbit hole that you don't even know that you stepped into the hole.
What about that lady that they did they do her did they sentence her?
Oh, you talking about
Epstein?
You talking about Epstein's?
Yeah, I got something to say about
she
that.
was
though.
guilty. Mr. Logan has his hand up also.
Yes, Mr. Logan.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
So me and Erica had this. Ryan, stop. Me and Erica had this conversation, and in talking about sex trafficking. A lot of people don't know, and when I say it, then you're gonna go, oh yeah, that too. When you have your kids playing sports, youth sports, and they're taking your kids away to Florida and things like that.
Wow!
I would never ever allow my son to go anywhere without me. Okay, but there's a lot of times that parents are taking this kid. There was one situation where they took a young a football team to Miami, and 3 of the kids didn't come back.
What?
And
just straight up didn't come back?
They did not come back. They were on a football team, a youth football team, and they never came back. They said they went out their room at night and never came back. And these are the things that we have to understand. We look at these coaches, right? Riverside. We all know the story about Riverside, right?
Actually, don't.
Tell us the story.
You gotta tell us the story,
You don't know the story about Riverside? Okay, so when we were all younger, we used to play at Riverside. and the Catholic preacher in Riverside, he was a predator.
We talking about the church,
But
Riverside
the
Church in Harlem.
And right, so
Okay.
so a lot of us that played there, you know, he used to buy us a whole bunch of things, right? Some of the guys got caught up in that, and then next thing you know, there was a whole lot going on, sexual misconduct and everything, which came out later on. So when you look at the youth sports, and especially youth sports, and a lot of times you don't talk about young males. A lot of young males are missing.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
A whole lot of young males are
Yes.
missing.
We work on males. Males.
Right.
It's a big deal with the fake
Right,
job
it's a big
offers.
deal.
It's
That's
a big
right.
deal. It's a big
So-
deal. Big deal.
So I want, especially there are a lot of young moms that put their youth into football, basketball, baseball. You have to watch that too.
Mm.
You have to know, and we all do it. Like we don't ask for a background check of that coach. The famous case, Penn State, right? What was going on with the Penn State coach?
All right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you
Famous
know what,
coach.
Logan, you know what we talked about too? We went deeper because you and I worked with Fortune Society,
Right.
youth that just were formerly incarcerated. And what I want to say is the parentification of young boys at a young age and the pressure to make money, to survive.
Yes.
And that is really where we gotta, as a community, we need to talk about that. He's not your little man.
That's
you
right.
know?
right,
But
right.
but what's so funny is we look at even in hip hop and in R&B.
Talk about it.
Talk about Ralph Tresvant. Did you see his story?
I did not.
He got pimped out on Hollywood Boulevard.
Shut up.
So
While he was with New Edition or before?
This was a little bit after, I think. But you know,
Really?
these stories, like, you know, there's a whole lot going on.
And nobody
And,
talks
and
about it.
we're looking the other way. But my thing is, as a coach, as a referee, as a teacher, I see this all the time. Even in the board of ed. In the board of ed, you know how many teachers are touching your children?
Sure.
And there's a lot of times when children come home and say, "Mommy, Daddy, this happened." We want to get on the kid and be like, "They're wrong." Don't ever do that. Go in and find out what's really
Right.
going on.
Right.
Right.
What's really going on.
Predators have to pray where children are, right?
Yeah.
So they have to have
And
jobs
and-
where they're exposed to children.
right.
Right.
And the thing about it is, which very disturbing. If you look at the amount of white women that are predators, see, a lot of people don't talk about that, but a lot of white women are predators. They're not being sentenced the way a black person would be sentenced.
Yes. Nobody gets sentenced
They're
like
not.
us.
So you know, when and me and Erica has talked about this a lot. We've had these
And we've
conversations
helped so
a lot.
many youth with this.
Yep.
We've also helped our young boys not get into that because it's easy for them to be traffickers. They have been actually approached to get a couple girls. You know, and guess what? You're not gonna go to jail. That's your friend. That's your cousin. Nobody know who that is.
Right.
So I have a
It's
question
huge.
because even in the act of it, right? As you're going down the rabbit hole, there's going to become a point when it's going to become an inappropriate relationship, right? You know, the person got you the sneakers or they gave you some money, and then comes a point where it becomes that moment when it becomes inappropriate. What is the psyche of the child at that second or at that moment like, and how do we combat that to make our children aware that in this instance, if someone approaches you like that, then you need to go home and tell mom. You need to go home and tell dad. You know what I'm saying?
So let me help you think about this in terms of adult world.
Yeah.
Where has it been where a situation for you where you were okay and then the situation got uncomfortable? What did you do?
I immediately addressed the situation immediately, like right
Were
off
there
the
any
rip.
consequences of addressing it?
No, there was no
So
consequence.
you could say no, stop, I'm done, go buy home, go buy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm in the music industry, and I've been in the music industry my entire life. And in the music industry, we all know that there's a certain amount of, predatorial people in the music industry.
Absolutely.
And in that, I've been in the music industry almost 35 years, and I've worked with the best of them and the worst of them. But have I been approached? 100%. right? And in that instance, when I was approached, I immediately addressed it right off the riff. Like,
Okay.
And consequences be damned, you know, for however they was feeling, whether it was that my music career wasn't going to go any further than where it went or whatever it was. But I had the mindset of, that's not my speed. You know what I'm saying?
So trafficking, when you talk about use of force,
yeah.
fraud, or coercion,
Okay.
and a young person is faced with force, which I'll beat you up, I'll kill you. Fraud, where you are deceived, you thought, right? I can give you an example. Young girl, real example. One young girl goes to a house with a friend. Her friend invites her over there. Okay, it was play date. Right. This is play dates. Mother was okay. They met each other. Next thing you know what the mother tells the other mother? Oh, don't worry about it. I'll bring them to school on Monday. You don't have to come get her Sunday night. Mother said, okay. They kept on going and going and going. Now the daughter's missing from school. Now the mother's alerted, like, what's going on? Do you know she had to take the police to her house and find her daughter in the back servicing a whole house, living room of men? Wow. So when did it get uncomfortable? It probably got uncomfortable when she said, your mother's not picking you up. And guess what she probably said? She probably said, oh, your mother told me it's okay. She's not going to pick you up. She's busy right now, but I'll take you to school tomorrow. She doesn't have to be honest with that kid.
Right. So that becomes the beginning of the manipulation.
Right. So, it's funny because you're thinking it's like a cut and dry, right? Most kids can think of cut and dry. Don't touch me. Don't bother me. We so sassy. We so smart. They don't get you on that. They love that.
Right.
Because they can get you in a different way. Because all I got to do is lie to you and tell you something else. Your mother told me to take you home.
Right.
And you like, oh, she said for me to drop you off later. She told the mother something else, told you something else, and how do you know?
Right.
So they are very sinister ways. Because I think my niece that's 15, she thinks she know everything. And I will do this, and I will do this, and I will do this. And I said, so what's your safe word if you are in a situation? She know what I'm talking about. Every household needs safe words. I don't care if it's Krispy Kreme. If your kid pick up the phone and say Krispy Kreme, that means they're in trouble. You need to find them.
Wow,
don't turn off locations. And guess what you can do, parents? I do parent talks all the time. You can, with your Apple ID, if you have an Apple phone, you can hook your kid's phone into your phone without buying these crazy apps. So you can see every conversation your kid gets and every incoming call.
Right.
You pay the bill, right?
Right. That's right.
So if you pay the bill, okay, and guess what? If something happens, like your kid sends a little nudie picture, and then you yourself go, oh, honey, look what she did. Guess what? You're going to jail for child pornography because you sent a picture of a young child, but you just showing your wife. No, I've seen parents get into this. They go straight to school now. They go to school and the authorities. This is something that happened on my kid's phone. I didn't touch the phone. I didn't do this. Because they will take you to jail now. This is the funny thing. If we don't get it together with our communication in our households, they will hold you accountable for that now, legally. And ACS, they're predators too.
ACS?
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if Shamara's on the phone, but there was a whole study that a whole parent group put together about ACS. But I will tell you this. If you want to adopt a child right now, you can Google New York State, adopt a child. You could put in age, you could put in ethnicity, and guess what? A bunch of kids will come up that you can buy. Our kids are for sale.
Get out of here.
This is frightening.
Understand when I say your kids are for sale. Everybody's selling them. So that's why no one talks about it, Maria. Everybody's selling them. Everybody, I'm telling you, Angelina knows it to be true. We were doing it. We were working on something. We're speaking at NAN Youth Rally. We're getting ready for some of the work that we've been doing. We're waking up the world on domestic violence. And I said, let me look and see if this is true. There is a website, New York State website. Do it.
Tell me
Look
again.
it up.
Tell me
Google,
again.
Just Google Google adoption, kid adoption, New York State.
Right. Yeah,
it is open, it's free, there's no password, nothing. And I can find every child that's in foster care waiting to be adopted. And their age range is from baby to like 21.
Wow.
And the New York State gets money for that.
Right.
Do you understand?
Right.
That our kids are being exposed and no one cares and no one even talking about kids because kids were chattel. Just like, we were just 3/5 a person.
So I can go on the site. I can say I want a kid, 15
Yeah, and
years
I will
old.
send it to you after the podcast. I'll make sure
Right.
Maria has it up. But you
And-
can just Google it. I'm telling you, just Google it. Just say Google. You can Google New York State adoption.
And I can go through the process of the adoption, or
Yes, you can. Yes,
Okay.
you can order your child.
got you, like a menu, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and so if I'm a predator, isn't that a great thing?
Yeah, absolutely, sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of
And guess
course.
how much money I can get for you and then take you to Russia or take you right over to the Super Bowl Sunday.
Because then you would get paid from the state also. Is that
Oh, yeah.
okay? Okay.
And I worked with a foster parent that was doing some crazy stuff.
Okay.
I was a backup, being nice, being this. Maria, you know me. I'm always trying to help the kids and the youth. And when the youth told me she's crazy because when you leave, this will happen, and I got out of there. When my friend who came to be a social worker, he said she's crazy.
Callie said she just did it, and they have pictures too.
Get out
Okay,
of
there
here.
you go.
That's in
All
the
right,
chat
thank
room right
you.
now.
I'm not. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I said to Al Sharpton, you know our kids are for sale, right? So don't. Let's not talk to me about all these things. If we're doing it. We're saying it's okay from the top down. And so we have some laws trying to help, and some laws. We got a law that came out 2019 that Hochul did. That's on my website. Another law that came out during Transgender Awareness Day, right? Making sure that their legal records gets expunged. Yeah, but you still doing it. There's a form. I can find a way if I'm a trafficker. I'm smart. This is a big business. We're talking about both multi-million dollars, billionaire
Right, sure,
business.
sure.
Say the name of your website too. Say the name of your website.
please
now,
do.
so people can look on your website.
And your
It's
social
got
media.
two stops, so it's grammatically correct. GOTTOSTOP LLC. So what I spend most of my time doing, Maria, I do a lot of research. I do a lot of connecting with people from all over the globe to talk about this type of stuff and any injustice. I want to get to the bottom and the root. Because why is it going on so much? Why, it's the money. It's the money. You take the money out of it, you ain't got no sale.
I just want to address the chat room because we have multiple streams that are going on. So there's stuff that's happening in Zoom. There's stuff on Facebook, and there's also stuff happening on YouTube. And in the YouTube chat, Hip Hop Boulevard, which is Al Pizarro, says, we lost that village atmosphere when I was younger. My neighborhood would go would GN me would grab me by the ear if they saw me doing something or saw something wrong. Right, okay. So what he's saying is that in this day and age, we no longer have that community kind of watch where the kids, you knew everybody on the block and everybody knew you.
Right.
So there was a protective mechanism, when we were growing up. And I'm quoting from the 70s. I'm 55 years old. But if I did something on one block, by the time I got home, my mother was killing me.
But I want to add to that though.
Yeah.
This is the problem. This is where I really have to go. And my mother gave it to me on my birthday. She gave me some great wisdom. She said when she was coming up, my mother's 80 years old. She said when we were coming up to show affection and love in a family, I'm talking about romantic love, eros love, and even philo, even friendly love. You didn't do that. You didn't show your kids that. When you get in households and we don't know how to respond, talk to each other, you don't know what it looks like when you get out in the world when someone's approaching you.
Right.
These are things that like this. They were not saying, you don't go, I love my husband. It's always about something else that he did, right? Because that's what everybody want to gossip about, what's wrong and not what's right. So you have to send these relationships that we already have can be a pre-existing factor to the intricate relationship that happens with sex trafficking. And remember, your pimp could be your boyfriend, your cousin,
right,
your aunt. I mean, they're familial. These relationships are very, very, very intimate.
I want to address the chat room again. Robin says, what happened to those kids that disappeared when they were in the detention centers in the camps in Texas? Because a lot of kids disappeared during that time. Somebody sing this up?
I think that's me. Sorry.
Because I got the echo.
So can you say it again? I didn't hear the question.
Robin saying, what happened to the kids that disappeared when they had those detention camps in Texas? So I guess a lot of the immigrants that came, I guess that became sort of a farm, basically, to be able to pick these kids out of? That's what she's asking about. And if you're aware of it.
I'm aware of those. I'm aware of any detention camp. When you talk about what's going on with immigration and how they're treated in labor trafficking, I mean, that's what people used to talk about when they talked about trafficking, labor trafficking, not getting your wages, right? You know, working for pennies, you know, that's what, and that fraud and coercion of, you know, I'm gonna send you back, you'll be deported. We've heard that's something that we've heard that we don't do anything about. Mm-hmm. So we have some organizations trying, but that comes from the top down. But guess what? If your mindset is not that it's not a problem, because people say with this type of work is, if it doesn't hit your home, it's not a problem for you because my kids won't do that. And I don't know anybody that's like that. And I have to be very careful because I do clothing, right? And I do online. I have to make sure that the companies that I work with are not trafficking. And I ask a lot of hard questions and I do research. And I ask people to do research and double research so I know who I'm dealing with. Because I don't want to know that a 10-year-old's in the sweatshop doing my clothes. I don't want to know that somebody was shipped from a different country. I don't want to know that. I want to make sure I can at least control what I can control and ask the questions because I got to feel that there's going to be some integrity in this, right? I think that the problem is big, but the answer is small. And that's something that Angelina is going to be doing. February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. And she works on the relationship in the very beginning because that will help when trafficking is presented. See, when we start that conversation early, right? We start that conversation early about what is abuse, how are you treated? That helps. So with that, coupled with the human trafficking conversation, we get some real good education and then community conversations and telling your kids, let's have family night. See, I love when people do stuff on TikTok with their families. The problem with it is, this is the problem. You can twerk around the house if you want to, right? That's something you should be able to do. But it's when it's being seen on camera and it's being exploited.
Absolutely.
That's the problem.
Right.
So
All
you
over
can't
the
put your
world.
kid, you don't want to put your 9-year-old doing it. That might be cute if you were just all in a room together and maybe she was copying behavior because kids copy behavior. They put their hand on their hip. They do a lot of things like you do, right? But you put it on social media now to the world. Now you've exposed your kid for potential exploitation. So, you know, Angelina if you want to talk a little bit about how that teen dating violence intersects with human trafficking and domestic violence, I would love you to speak on that. Maria, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, let's go.
This is heavy. We've been needing it.
Sorry. I wasn't prepared for that. Thank you, Erica.
Tell us who you are.
Everyone.
Tell us who you are.
Yeah, so I'm Angelina Rosado. I'm the founder of Returning Hope, which is a nonprofit domestic violence organization. I'm also a domestic violence educator as well as a teen dating violence educator. So I actually have a program called Girls in Purple, where I teach the young women and young men on teen dating violence and, you know, different signs, what to look for, just straight educating them on it due to the fact that I was a teen who was in a very abusive relationship and I wasn't educated on it. You know, in my community, the Black and Brown community, these are things that aren't talked about. This isn't a subject. It's not a topic. It's not in schools. It's not in our community centers. So there's no way someone's going to speak about it. You know, I come from a family of every single woman in my family is a victim of domestic violence, but we also ran with that code of what happens in this house stays in this house and you don't speak about it outside. So that's kind of like the mentality that I was raised with. So seeing abuse was always around, didn't know the proper terms for it. So those things were in topics. So once I got out of my abusive relationship, you know, I dove into education because the only way I can help victims is by being educated on it. So now actually going into February, which is exciting, and I get to tackle teen dating violence with our youth. And I'm from the Lower East Side of Manhattan, so I go with my kids and I educate my own children on teen dating violence. Excuse me, I'm sorry. My kids are running around.
Sorry.
And, you know, when it comes to teens and dating, we're talking 1.5 million teens are dealing with teen dating abuse every single year, right? That's a huge number. We're also talking about, you know, in the Black and Brown community, we have the highest rating numbers, which is sad. We're also talking about only 1 1 in 10 girls will actually speak on the abuse that they're enduring in their relationship. So when it comes to Girls in Purple in our program, what we're going to be doing is equipping these young women with the knowledge and the resources that they need if a friend comes and discloses this information to them. Because what statistics do show is that our young Black women are not going to their parents, they're not going to professionals because they don't feel safe. You know, when you come to someone that's professional, you know, they're scared, you know, CPS might get involved. They're scared that they're going to get reported or it's going to backfire on them. And, you know, it's going to be some legal action taken against their parents. And then they're also scared what their parents are going to say. You know, that's a scary subject to tell your mom, hey, I'm dealing with abuse. And now your mom flips out and you don't know how to control the situation. So, you know, that's a lot of pressure on these.
And also, it might be in a situation where the person with a kid wasn't supposed to be dating in the first place. So they feel very uncomfortable going to talk to their parent about that. Sure. Yeah.
Exactly. So, our Girls in Purple will basically be us not only educating them, but also equipping them with the information that they would need to help a friend. So, you know, if she's not comfortable, but you may be comfortable with speaking to an adult and saying, hey, this is a situation, what do I do? And instead of an adult stepping in at that moment, maybe she's not comfortable with speaking with an adult. She's comfortable with speaking with her peer, but her peer can now give her that information that she can be equipped with to escape and exit that relationship safely. Like that's our biggest goal, is to make sure that we get them out safely, and both for young women and young men.
Yeah, and I did work with teen boys on domestic violence in Ridgewood YMCA, and I worked with boys of different cultures. And they told me something that was really interesting, that when the Me Too movement was happening and a lot of different women organizations, you know, were very vocal, they said to me, Miss Erica, they hate us. And I was like, what do you mean? They hate us. They hate us. They hate us. And they were so angry, and they felt that they're being misunderstood and they're being abused as well. That they feel like they don't have a voice, that they're not like these other people, but the frustration of like a girl telling them I can say what I want, and they get in their face and it becomes combative.
Right.
And then you don't hit a girl.
Right.
You can't hit a girl. So there's an unspoken rule that some people live by, and some people don't live by that at all. Right. And so I feel like what Angelina's working, what I was trying to do was talking about de-escalate and make them understand where women's voices were not heard, right? But then they talked about the fact that they're like, but why does everybody think I'm going to be the bad guy? We had candid conversations about domestic violence and healthy relationships. And if we can listen to our young boys, our LGBTQ community more, we would learn a lot. We would be able to help them. We would be able to really support them in the ways they need to be supported. You have to believe them when they say they're uncomfortable with a certain adult. You have to watch their body language. Don't tell them to come hugging this person and kissing this person. Oh, thank God for Corona, okay?
Yeah.
Because some of y'all were doing too much huggy, kissy, feely with Uncle so-and-so and Miss so-and-so, and that's not working. And you're seeing your kid shrink in the corner and you don't know why. You're saying he's disrespectful, she's disrespectful. Or they are right. Disrespectful.
Yeah,
and that's not
thing.
right.
Right. You're right.
And so we've got to go back. We got to go back to the generational. We got to talk to people like Dorothy Antley Chisholm, and her granddaughter has done some tremendous work on sex trafficking. All right, she has a whole book out, and she could even speak about that. So Doris, I hope you are ready to talk about that book that they should get, because we got to talk about the generational pieces that we got to talk about. And that's what Angelina's going to, the generational trauma that we've endured, and not talking about relationships and love and what does it look like. Why can every other culture, and I hate saying this, feel like loving somebody is not, I got to make it taboo. I can't say I like somebody, or somebody, she may take your man. Don't say nothing, because, you know, if you say you like them, why is that got to be? Why does that exist between us? Why? Because guess what my mother said? In slavery, if you expressed that you liked so-and-so, or you were, they would get rid of them, humiliate them, rape them, beat them, separate you. So It was secret. It wasn't secret that you would fall in love. It wasn't secret under that apple tree that this might happen, because you couldn't show that.
Right.
And we continued that cycle. And my mother told me, break that cycle. You break it. You
He's
love
absolutely
somebody,
right.
you tell them. You don't act aloof to love
You're right. I mean,
and to touch and to wholeness.
and because in
and
other
healing.
countries that didn't suffer from the great American experiment, which is the African American, right? They are very open and very loving, and they express themselves, and it's not suppressed.
Yes.
We live in a Puritan, based society. Sex is bad, sex is wrong. Affection is wrong. You shouldn't do these things, right? And that's where. So we are naturally a suppressed people, really, sexually repressed people.
And guess what? That's why we're the best product for you to get off the market for a trafficker.
That is right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
You understand?
You made a
Got it?
very valid point. Eye-opening, really.
That's
Eye-opening.
it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, I got to tell you. Best conversation ever.
Ed in the chat.
Enlightening.
I guess
What's the
this-
chat look like,
I
Janine?
guess this is in reference to when you were saying that, the community all got together to chat to correct the kids' behavior. He said the kids are opposed to that. There are laws that protect the kids from parents correcting behaviors
Absolutely.
or confrontation
Absolutely.
about negative behaviors.
And Ed, guess what I want to say? Whoever said that in the chat, guess what? That's how New York State gets your kids.
Right.
Hello, do you see how this works? It's a business.
But you know what? That's so interesting because
The laws are protecting this business.
yes, it does. Because
It perpetuates a cycle.
you know what's crazy? I used to always say, I understand, a child can go and get an abortion. Child can go and get HIV medications. Children can go and do certain things because we don't know what that child has gone through. But in other hand, I understand those laws, but in some places, children need parental expression.
Guidance.
Because why would you send somebody's child to go get HIV medication, but the parent don't know they got HIV?
Right.
That's crazy.
Right. Doesn't make any sense.
So my point is, okay, you can't get the parents, but isn't there an aunt or uncle or family member that child can bring in with them that they feel comfortable? Why does the child get to make the decision that they don't even know real information about because they're still young?
It kind of brings up a point that Robin always says. And the point is that once your child has a social security number, you actually don't own your child. The state owns your child.
Wow.
The state owns your child, not you. Not you. Once you give them a social security number, am I correct? You know what I'm saying?
Are you here, Shamara? Can you talk a little bit about the study that you were doing with the ACS and the parents? Because that's important work as well. The people they're fire on here. The people I work with, I don't just work by myself. I work with people that know
she
what
done
they're
bought
doing.
the ammunition with us.
She done bought
Well,
the
we done
crew.
had
We got
Angela.
Jean.
We done had the cavalry. We got Angelina.
So Shamara, can you talk about what you've been doing and the work you do? Because her stuff is lethal. We about to get some laws changed. Go ahead.
Good evening, y'all. My name is Shamara Kelly. I work for Voices of Women. I am a community organizer, domestic violence advocate, and survivor / thriver. Also co-founder of Black Families Love and Unite. And I came on here today to support Erica. Not to be put on the spot, but I can definitely, when you talk about systems and when you talk about DV, it intersects with all of systems and it also intersects with human trafficking. So when we talk about DV, it's not talked about enough. We're not having the right conversations, right? We're talking about the regular conversations, but we're not talking about the conversations where when ACS get involved, that is put on the mother or the survivor, right? Because reality is that ACS doesn't identify domestic violence as an issue, as a whole issue, as a public issue. So yes, you can get your kids taken away if you have a domestic violence case and you don't know right then and there that you are, putting your kids in danger. ACS does not take the time to understand those facts. Now, as far as the Social Security part, I don't have the facts for that. But reality is that once you are in that system, ACS system, you're in that system for life. And when you have DV cases, you have an ACS case. 9 times out of 10, sometimes those cases come because of your DV cases. I can go on and on about, the courts, the judges, the lawyers, and everything about how, they're not educated in domestic violence. And I'm pretty sure they're not educated in human trafficking, because if they were, we wouldn't be here having these conversations.
And they not educated in mental health neither. How about that? They ain't educated in a whole lot of stuff. Go ahead, Ms. Shamar, I'm sorry.
No, I think reality is that's what it is, right? And when you talk about mental health, it's true, right? Because reality is I have PTSD, but they won't know or won't be able to identify why I have PTSD. Or will they know? Do they know it's because there's so-called systems that are made up that I have this PTSD as well, not only from the trauma that I have endured, but the so-called systems that are supposed to protect us. So those are the things that I fight for. I fight for survivors that have to navigate through the systems, whether it's ACS, whether it's, having to deal with the judges, the courts.
She goes to court with them.
Yes, I go to
Maria,
court.
she goes with them. Hand in hand. So when I have somebody that calls me about something like this, I get on the phone with Shamara and Angelina and we start strategizing of what can happen right now. Yeah. Where's the safest place for them to go? Who's the vetted organization? But we talk to people directly on the phone. We don't like these numbers. These numbers that don't work.
Right. And they tell you, hold on.
We don't do that. I don't have time for that. When I decided God to Stop was going to be a resource and a connector, I wanted to do that. When I need something about boys, young men, the legal system, the juvenile system, penal system, I called Mr. Logan and I called Dr. Byron E. Price that works on mass incarceration. You see, I don't have time to play. We don't got no time for the middleman. I want to go, like, Maria, when I need something about music and when I need something about activism, I call you. I don't like to call the middleman.
Right.
I don't want to hear what I heard in the book. It's not effective because people are needing help now. People are dying now. Right. And COVID, when I did my whole COVID line, people were blown away. I said, listen, we got to talk about this. This is the disparities in our healthcare system this has just been popping. You're now seeing all the problems that have already existed. And when I stood out on Linux about the medical redlining, it was only a couple of people out there, but guess who was nodding with me? The people that were in the clinics saying that they're being abused. Their abuse, their drug addiction is now being exploited.
Yeah.
I will. I gotta. I'm addressing different chats because it's happening all over. What we're doing. So June Moses says we need to invite Miss Erica Lucille to our TA meeting.
Oh yes, yes. I got to put her and June together. June we had June on. She did one of my shows. Very powerful.
Hi, June.
Yeah, June Moses. Yes. Very powerful. So I will make sure I connect them together because June.
Real quick, can I say something? Shamara. You're talking about connecting systems. A lot of people don't know that your school is connected to this too.
Yes.
And
pipeline to prison, pipeline to pedophiles.
We're not going to talk about that part, but we're going to talk about something that's called Parents Per Se, right? And a lot of people don't know what Parents Per Se is, but I've been in the education system for 20 years. Parents Per Se is in the absence of the parent, the teacher is the parent, or the school is the parent. You guys don't know how powerful that is. I'm going to just give you a little scenario with my son, 15-year-old. He cannot sign anything. I actually have a legal document in his school saying that he cannot sign anything. He cannot say anything. The first thing you do is to call his parent or call a lawyer. So being a dean in the Board of Education, the first thing when cops come into school and they're looking for somebody, you know what they ask for? They ask for the yearbook. Why? The yearbook is your first mugshot, right?
Right.
They ask for the yearbook. And don't you know that if you come looking for your parent, your child, the school can deny you to see your child. They can call ACS and be like, hey, you can't come see your child. And if you try to come in and get your child, they will arrest you on the spot. Yes. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful with the school and how you deal with the school. Mm-hmm. Because the school will take any little thing. And next thing you know, you talk about those ACS cases, they're all interconnected. Yep. They're interconnected. And I've been doing this for a while. And I know, and I've seen it. And me and it being a fair African American male and a dean, I've stopped it from happening. You know, so a lot of people don't know that these systems, you know, you go to school, you send your child to school and you think your school is taking care of your child.
Right.
Your school don't like you. You one of those boisterous parents and they don't like you, they'll create a situation for you.
Yeah, I think reality is that too, is that parents don't know is that anyone in the DOE building is a mandatory reporter.
They call it a mandated reporter.
Right.
You're a mandated reporter. Right.
They are. And we had more people like you, Mr. Logan, that took it upon themselves and actually dealt with the issue at hand instead of reporting. Oh yeah, a lot of our kids, a lot of our parents won't be entangled in that system. Right. So you're definitely right.
So do they put this under the guise, right? Because now they have to create a scenario. So I'm just going to shoot this out there, Mr. Logan, that they're putting it under the when they create the scenario. Do they put it under the guise that the child is being abused or mistreated at home? Like how do they frame that?
I'm gonna help you out. Here's the buzzword: child abuse and neglect.
Yep.
Now,
sexual assault.
Check.
Plain abuse. All right. Malnutrition.
Yep.
Okay. You don't feed your child. Your child don't come to school with the proper clothes on that they think your child should come on. Child comes to school untethered, you know,
right.
Their hair is messed up or whatever, you know. So different things it's disguised under. Okay, but guess what? There's only 2 people in the school that can make that decision whether to trigger that ACS case: the principal, the assistant principal, and the dean.
Those 3.
Okay.
That's your direct
dean, and I know.
And that's why we tell people and we tell parents, why we say, why a parent-teacher conference going to school important? You need to know those 3 very well, and they need to know you and know what you're about. Because guess what? You're missing. You're missing in action. You're MIA. You could be working your job, you're missing, and they write you off, and that's how they write your kid off.
Right. And then the next thing you know, you're like, what just happened?
Right.
No control.
Well, I'm gonna tell you about
this is a different type of predatorial situation, then, really, that we're talking about.
But remember, if you think about a child, it happens every day. But if the child is in the middle of this, is the target of this, or is impacted by this,
right.
They're so vulnerable right now. They can trust anybody right now. Right.
They can get your child to say anything they want.
Yeah, they're vulnerable. I mean, you saw that on Ava DuVernay's whole thing. When they see us, right? Was that when they see us?
Yes, When they see,
I mean, they basically showed you the playbook in New York State. I mean, it's a playbook, and it's happening to men, women, young boys and girls, and parents who do not get involved, don't have these conversations, don't come on, can't be silenced podcast, don't get the real. This is the real we talking about. We're not talking about what you read in the textbook. And like Shamara said, they're having conversations about domestic violence, but very surface. It's like give some people some clothes. That's the nice stuff. But we're talking about supports. We're talking about the fact that they can't get vouchers. We're talking about the fact that when they go to this little place, and I'm telling you that we saw the story, I heard the story too many times. They go up to this one little place in the Bronx, and you sit there and they tell you don't bring any food. You can't use your phone. And you just sit there and you wait. And then you wait, and then you're smuggled into like little hotels around the city late at night.
That's right.
And then you're told when you're going to your safe place, you're put out in the middle of the street with you and your child in one bag, in a trash bag. That's why I said, gotta stop. We're gonna get some dignity. Buy them a bag. If some ACS people want to come to me and get them bags, I gotta stop bags. And I want to say trafficking, domestic violence on them so they can remember, don't touch this child. See, this is where the whole fashion comes into play. I got to put in your subconscious somewhere that this person matters. But when they dump you in a street you don't even know, to say you're going to a shelter, a safe shelter, how was that safe?
Right.
Wow, that's she's right about that plastic bag too, because I met some young women, this young girl, and she was raising money for bags to give to women in domestic violence places, so because she said they got plastic bags and she was tired of seeing those plastic bags. That is very true.
Wow.
So I've seen it.
Erica,
take out the bags and bring them into the home where the foster kids are staying for respite. I saw the bags. And it's disgusting.
I want to ask you a question because you were getting ready to answer about that Epstein, the woman that was
Maxwell.
So this is the thing, and I have to say this, and people have asked me about it, so I'm gonna say it. She's a victim too.
Absolutely, I agree.
And somebody had to take the fall.
Absolutely, I agree again.
And this is about money.
Absolutely, I agree 3 times now.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody had to be the fault. And I don't think Epstein was not, he did not commit suicide. I don't care what nobody
Oh, there's no
said.
doubt about that. I mean, in some of the testimonies that I heard in that, some of the who are now women now actually said that she also engaged in inappropriate activities with them. With
Okay,
them
but
also.
I want you to go back to the definition of this.
Uh-huh.
Fraud, force, coercion.
Uh-huh. Got you.
So from a person that has been incarcerated, there's no way that you can hang yourself in a cell.
Right. Yeah, not possible.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
And you
it's not possible.
and you as
Okay, so-
big as he
so-
was.
So listen, it's virtually impossible to hang yourself in a cell. Either somebody's going to hang you
Mhm.
or somebody's going to hang you. It is not conducive for you to hang yourself in a cell.
Right.
So that's out the way. What happened to him, he knew they thought he was going to spill the beans on other
Absolutely, that's right.
And he didn't do
people.
it.
And that's why that happened to him.
Make sure he didn't do it.
Yeah, they couldn't even
Yep.
chance it. You know what I'm saying? And I
Right.
think in her case, the reason why she hasn't suffered the same fate is because she actually has the goods. Somewhere. She has the tapes, she has something. Because other than that, she'd be that too, really, in all the actuality. But she has something that would be a
But,
trigger if anything
I-
happened to her.
I still feel the same way as Erica. And when I was looking at it, I said she's a victim from the beginning. They
Right.
did that to her when she was young.
Very beginning.
Okay,
they
so
did
she
that to
started
her.
out young with maybe a situation.
So
But that's the thing. But anybody can start out young with a situation,
Right.
and
Right.
and in the beginning, it could all seem like it's fun until it's not fun,
Right.
and then so you have to do it. And whenever you can't say no without consequence, there's a problem.
Right.
So
There's a problem.
There was a quick a movie I just I was actually looking at trying to find To Serve with Love, Cindy Poitier.
Yes.
Oh yeah. The
That's
school,
the
the
best.
London.
If you want to watch a movie about classroom management, that's the movie you watch.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, absolutely.
I was flipping through to see it and talk about trafficking and how they promote it, and you don't even see it if you're not looking for it. They had this show on about these 5 white girls who started they were all in high school trying to get into good colleges, so they started going on dates with older men.
Oh, I saw that one.
Right? They started it. I didn't even finish it. I was like, this is disgusting and whatever. But you're seeing that. You're starting to see and look at things like that. That is making it look like it's all right.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. Oh, it's okay. It's all, and like she said, they lure you with those 3 different things.
And the same thing. And the same
I
thing
wanna
with
go
strippers.
Go ahead.
Same thing
Yeah.
with strippers. Same
But
thing.
this is the thing that people need to understand about New York State. I'm going to talk about New York State and where I'm very upset. And I called Cordell about this one day in alarm. When they talk about the youth getting the youth jobs, well, that's a lottery. So everybody's not guaranteed a job. So when you talk about how I grew up and how the city kids are growing up, I can get a job as soon as I get my papers. I can work in the mall at 15. Nobody going to be telling me no lottery. I have to go in, put a resume in like everybody else.
Right,
Like Betty
right.
Smith did, the grandma. That's how I worked at Marshall's, The Gap, and all these places. Nobody told me no lottery. I had to get the job, right? So here we go. Now these kids are standing outside waiting to be placed or get their number called, and they're on 125th Street. A lot of kids. It's hot outside. There's no water. I even went in the facility and saw them cramped up pre-COVID. I called Cordell. I said, why are these kids standing on the street like this, like they're begging for something? That's the perfect time to pick up a kid.
Yep.
And this happened to one girl. She said to me, oh, yeah, I went to apply for she got a job interview at Zara. That's what the interview said. when I talked about false advertisement, she said, yeah, I remember when they said I was going to get a job at Zara. This is happening in Manhattan. They told her Zara, so they showed the logo. Come on down, bring a friend. No application. She said they met on the side of a thing with a truck.
That was the interview.
Yes, Zara.
Wow.
Because Zara's a hot name.
Right, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But guess what? I hate to tell you, when I got laid off my job and I didn't know how this was going to work with my company, you know what job I applied to? I said Victoria's Secret on 125th Street. They had a perfect job, 2 to 10. I could just sell underwear, right? And this is the perfect time to look at girls and see what's going on, see the community. They told me no. They don't want me there. You don't want me in those situations. See, these are the kinds of sinister things and places and things. And you don't want somebody with my resume. They looked at it, probably said, she can't be in here. Because you got to watch the people that come into stores like that. I had to alert my little niece that used to work at MAC on trafficking because she says, yeah, I get customers and the girls can't talk and the guys are dictating the makeup. Like, they're like, hurry up. This is what she needs. And it's like, what?
You know?
And she's like, one day she said, I used your thing. I just looked at the girl. And she said, okay, we're talking eyelashes. And she tried to push him away. And he was right there. So then she looked at her and she just looked at her and whispered to her, like, put something over. She said, okay. Like, and the girl just looked straight, did not speak. These are the things I'm talking about. They talk about that airline flight attendant that found that girl with that note and saved her life. Well, these are things that we can do as human beings. Have you ever looked in the eyes of a young person and saw the fear? I said this, Maria, and nobody did it. I wanted to take my Gotta Stop decal. Now, Tiana Taylor, yes, she did. When she had her nail salon, she partnered with me for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, had my T-shirts and my logo. Girls who had purple nail polish got discounts. It went well. With Mecca, her cousin, we did it. I wanted every business owner in Harlem to have my logo so people would know it was a safe space.
Right. Wow.
It was a safe space because you're on these streets. You need to feel safe. And you know what? Crickets.
Of course.
And you know who knows it works? Princess. Because when Princess decided to do my pop-up shop, this little boy ran into her store. Wow. Because something was going on. And we asked her, are you okay? He ran into her store where I was, where Gotta Stop was on the thing. And Logan came that weekend. Wow. So it became a safe space. Do you see how powerful logos can be and people seeing these words?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, come on, it attracts people to something that means, you know me, you see me, and that's the problem. Do you see others? Can you see me is the question. Because if you can't see me, then I'm going to go missing.
Right.
Oh, that's deep. We need to have this. Listen, Erica.
It's that kind of
we
discussion.
We need part 2 next week. We're going to have to change some stuff
but
around.
my team got to come back. My team.
The team next Monday. We got to do part 2 because this is
Logan
powerful.
Logan talks about the injustice of child support with our young men and how it gets them involved in illegal and criminal activity.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Dora he doesn't talk on that. Know the laws.
Dora said, "Thank you immensely, my Sora Erica, for an excellent and very informative presentation. Thank you to all the hosts, moderators, and participants for all information shared. I enjoyed all put name of granddaughter's book above. I must depart now as I have another engagement." And I guess the book is The Historical Roots of Human Trafficking, Informing Primary Prevention of Commercialized Violence by Dr. McKinn Chisholm.
And that's somebody we're going to try to get to be our speaker for a forum. So yeah, this is what I'm saying. When I started talking about the conversation, this is when Doris said to me, I know my granddaughter. If we didn't have the conversation about human trafficking, I would have never known about her granddaughter, who's that close to this work.
Right.
Doing this right? If we don't talk, we don't know. We are our own resource, really, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
True facts.
Everybody in here can help somebody. Kim Blair's quiet, but Kim Blair works in this city. She works with the people. She is a social worker. There are people on this call. Deborah Payne is an educator. Tashana runs a center. That's Tashana's
Tashana
the person
Miss
Tashana took me up. Tashana is the one that
Princess.
had believed in God and stopped and said, I will give you a space. I will give you a space. Do you know how much that made you feel? Oh, I'm not a non-for-profit. I'm not this. I'm not that. Well, what are you doing? You sell clothes? But you don't understand. Fashion activism has been going on since the 70s.
Absolutely.
In big time vogue. This is not new. I'm being true to it though. It's not a fad. It's not going anywhere. People want to do something for their social good. That's just the bottom line. So I can go do something for the social good. I can fund programs. I can feed people in the middle of the night. That's all this is doing for me. Look, passing it through the Black community. That's what I want to do. I want to pass it up in the Black community 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Wow.
To ourselves. That's what we want to turn over the dollar. Talk about economic empowerment. That's how we want to do this. But we can do it.
We're not gonna say another word because we want y'all to don't say another word.
We want to do part 2 next Monday.
Next Monday.
It's 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kim Anthony, listen, Maria, you got Kim Anthony checking in all the way from Nebraska.
Yeah, someone from Omaha, Nebraska,
Yes,
right? Yeah,
that's her. Shout out to Kim. She's been with me all the time.
So we get your crew together because we need Kim to speak next week. Absolutely. And I want to be able to tell more people about this because, it was last minute. You know me, last minute.
Yeah, I know.
Be quiet, Rob.
I'm just saying, I got it this
morning. That's why I'm traumatized and I need to see a therapist because of you. But anyway, this is, oh my goodness.
And I got to tell you. Are we supposed to wear blue or something? Can you talk about that?
So tomorrow is Wear Blue Day. It's National Wear Blue Day. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to wear blue. You can go to my site and get the social media frame. There's a frame that I have. You pop your picture in the frame and you post that on your social media. Wear blue. And it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. So it's on my Facebook, the social media frame, all that stuff. You can just go get it.
Can you let us know what your social media is, please, again?
Got to Stop LLC.
And that's on Facebook, Twitter, IG.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Okay.
All right, I like this. Wow, this is, I always be picking these deep topics. I was like, we're going to talk about what's happening in the new year.
You rocking and shocking right now.
Yeah, human trafficking.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Because nobody really talks about it.
Lynette said y'all taught Peyton Rose private property, no trespass.
Private property, no trespassing.
Yeah.
When I went and I worked with District 75, and we were going to talk about sexual health to the parents for people that have severely disabled children, but they still have their feelings and their emotions. So how
they're also trafficked.
Yes. So how can parents, have a conversation even if the child is not verbal? So it wound up being a healing session for parents. Wow. We never even got into the sexual part. Because the parents had so much on them. The wife don't love the baby no more, and she leave the baby to be taken, both kids to be taking care of the husband. We had crying sessions and everything. I was like, we started a whole new movement. But that was one of the things they talked about. Private property, no trespassing. I tell my granddaughter that. Or private property, both of them. Private property, no trespassing. Don't let nobody touch you. But we got to go even deeper than that now, because we living in a world where everything is about how you look, how much money you have, about the bag.
Right, surface. All surface stuff.
All surface stuff. All the music is about surface stuff. Nothing is about, deep inside, your heart,
your soul, your heart, your mind, your brain, what really matters, really, right?
But Maria, think about it. That's how we normalize this behavior.
Absolutely. And you know what? I want to have this conversation again because I want my daughter to hear, because she works for ACS. And these are some of the complaints that she has also. How the ACS goes in, they don't even ask questions.
I call them body snatchers.
I would love her to come on, really. I think it'd be great if she
might not be able to.
Because
she works for but I'm telling you, she has told me certain things. And when she said to me, I was like, what in the bejesus is that about? Because my daughter goes in and she talks to parents. She don't immediately go in and start snatching out kids. Yeah,
but I have a former ACS worker you can talk to that told me her story, and that's how she started working with me. So I do have
please, can we bring her on?
And I want to have my daughter listening next week, and maybe some of her ACS young people, because they sell them a dream that's crazy. My daughters and them are set up.
Right.
Because when my daughter got ready to work for ACS, all my friends in First Corinthian Baptist Church was like, tell her don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah. But my daughter was intrigued, it's about this money. But the stress that's put on you, like when my daughter, my grandbaby had some kind of contagious illness. And They told my daughter, you still have to work. When COVID happened,
Yeah.
they didn't protect their workers
They kept them
at
out in the
all.
streets.
They kept them out in the streets. What kind of crazy nonsense is that? You going in people's homes and COVID is on a rampage.
And how do you know they're not bringing COVID into your home? But you can't deny them your home, right?
Hello.
Right, that's right. They got to come in. They worse than
Well,
the
you got to know
police.
your laws. You got to know your laws. So
Yes,
we
you
can talk
do.
about that. You do need to know the law. You have rights.
And let me tell you what we have to teach our young black and brown children.
Yes.
Not to be afraid of saying no when you feel you being compromised.
Yeah.
My daughter's like, oh, it's the money. Where I'm going to get another job. Listen, you're educated. Even if you was not educated, you're smart and you have great skills. That's what you need to rely on, to know that you don't have to be pigeonholed into a city job because they pay good money. I think that is ridiculous. To me, you should work where you love to work, where you can really help people. And that's what my daughter's about. But she's caught up in this kind of, status kind of thing. I'm like, ACS ain't no career. All you do is you go to work and you get a decent pension if they don't fire you before then.
Well, Maria, now you're talking about the great resignation that other people, other cultures are going through, right? Now, there were a phenomenal amount of businesses that were birthed during COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many are going to sustain after that? But other cultures are doing the great resignation. I don't know where we are with the numbers. So we need to look at that.
I can tell you where we are with
Go
the
ahead,
numbers,
where we
'cause that's
are.
what I do. So 37% of the workforce right now is not working. What I do right now, I'm the supervisor of workforce for HRA and ResCare, and I'm in charge of Manhattan and Staten Island. So you got 37% of the workforce not working because either they resigned or withdrew. They say resignation, but they call it was resigned or withdrew, which means that more people now are not going back to work than they are going back to work.
Mm-hmm.
And the fix on this is those rich people or those middle class people that save some money that can do that. Okay, they're putting a strain on the social system now because they're not paying into that social system.
Right.
That's welfare and whatever and all of that. So what they're doing now, you'll see a lot of things being cut now. Okay, so what I do, what my staff do is everybody that's on welfare, they're gonna have to work as soon as this pandemic is over. They're gonna have to work. So now you know how the pendulum shifts.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a shift of workers over here and a shift of non-workers over here. It's going to trade off now. Now these middle class people are going to be the non-workers, and the people who are on welfare, they're going to be forced to work now because the middle class has been giving them money for so long, and that's going to cause a big rift.
Wow, that's deep.
Just in New York State, a lot of people are moving out of New York State.
Yes, they are.
Sure, and a lot of people, you got people that move, and you got to remember, a lot of people died in New York State, from the COVID. So with all these missing people, you're going to have an economic situation.
Yeah,
that's going to be bad. Yeah.
Right. So
that's a whole nother show, by the way.
Right, that's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show.
But still, we know President Roosevelt, with the whole social framework, we're moving back towards a social framework where it's going to be dependent on the government to do a whole lot.
Right.
So if you look back, take some step back in time and look at what President Roosevelt did, the whole he gave money for everything.
Right.
That's where we're lending ourselves back to now.
Right. That's where Social Security came from and all those things from Roosevelt's programs. So listen, we about to punch out, y'all.
Yeah, but hold on.
But hold on. I'm not punching out. I'm just letting you know we're about to punch out.
Right.
That's all. Because I have a certain lot of space on the disk drive that I have here, and I have to upload this show to our 24-hour broadcast radio station that we have. And this show's going to play for the next week.
Yeah.
Every day at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
We'll put the link up on Maria's page so you can hear it. This is going to play for the next week. Every day at 5.
Yeah, because this is.
And I'm playing the whole 2 hours. Like, it's just that much information.
Yeah,
That was crazy. Yeah.
So we're going to have part 2. So we're going to have 4 hours of good stuff. So, Erica, thank you so much. I'm saying thank you, but this is a thank you pause. Because you will be returning next Monday, the 17th, for us to really get into some more. And I'm going to invite so many more people because we need to have everybody involved in this conversation. There is no parent that should not be involved, especially in our community. No parent should be left behind. Like they say, no child should be. Every parent should know this information. It's like, it's imperative. We have to get out of the clouds, the partying, they're trying to do this. They said, they just passed a law for drinks to go. I said, we don't need no more drinks to go.
Right.
We need some brains to be informed.
Oh,
not drinks to go.
What's drinks to go? What's that?
You could take your drink out.
What, out of the bar?
Out the bar now. They passed
like
it.
New Orleans.
It was. They did that for the whole COVID.
Well, I remember that. I didn't know that they made it a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. So Kathy Hochul approved it temporarily. They trying to pass a law. We don't need no more liquor.
You sure don't.
We need some brains working, some networking going on, some collaborations where we can get ourselves, because we are in a hot mess. And it just ain't about human trafficking. It's just about our people. We are in a rut, and we have to do something to change. We can't go into 2022. They said what do they call insanity? Doing the same thing, expecting different results. We can't expect different results in our community if we're not a part of the entire process. So we're all Erica Ewings. We're all Harriet Tubmans. We're all Maxine Waters. We're all of these women that were powerful, that came around, Sidney Poitier. We're all James M. Tume. It is our duty and our obligation, that dash in between the year you were born and the year you die. What do you do with that dash?
That's the most important part of the tombstone.
What do you do?
It's your life.
How do you make it? What kind of accountability do you have for yourself?
No, that's right. I
You know,
that's right.
as a person that's living on this earth, is it just partying and bullshit? Or is it in picking up women or picking up men, or trying to look like Kim Kardashian, or trying to look like Nicki Minaj, or trying to have Jay-Z's money or Beyonce's money?
What's his name? Kanye. Sorry, Kanye.
Kanye. Even Yeezy still got some part of heart to him that he looks out for people.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, this is our obligation. God didn't put us here on this earth to be about ourselves. He put us on this earth to care, be compassionate, be concerned about our people. Allah, whoever you call him, your higher power, Jesus Christ, whoever you call him. But you can't say the word Jesus, Allah, or whoever you serve and don't put yourself in the same situation, because that's why the powers that be brought us all here, for us to find a way to be able to help other people. So this is how I'm ending it, but it's not ending. It's just a continuation to next week. We're going to put Erica back up. We're going to have the picture back up. It'll all be up tonight. And on Sunday, I will be out at 333 Lenox Avenue. We be feeding the community, giving out toys.
I'll be out there with you.
Thank you, darling.
I'll come out.
Thank you, honey. Giving out toys and stuff. You know, at first I was like, oh my God, it's going to be cold. But I'm watching all these different people still feeding people in the freezing cold. Listen, we're going to open up 333. We can go inside. The heat will be on. We can move in and out if we got to push people inside too. But I want to make this day about feeding people, getting a couple of hats and gloves and scarves, making sure the people. Let me tell you, when I had my gloves on, I said, I can't even imagine being outside and not having a pair of gloves on. Mm-hmm. My hands was freezing.
Yeah.
Or the time I had to take my scarf off when I was at St. Luke's Hospital, and this man was, you know, life happens to people. They handle it different ways, whether it's drinking, drug abuse. But this was like a Mexican guy. And he was drunk, and it was pouring rain, and people just walking by. And I was like, we need to call an ambulance. And another brother came by, and the man looked like he was freezing cold. And I said, you want my scarf? When I took my scarf off and gave it to him, I was like, oh my God, can you imagine people out here don't have scarves around their necks, socks on their feet? So I want to get some socks, some gloves, some hats, you know, give our kids some love on them, and make Sunday happen, because it is Martin Luther King weekend. Martin Luther King's birthday is actually January 15th.
Michael.
We're celebrating Michael.
Kim Blair's birthday is the 15th as well. Kim Blair.
Oh, Kim Blair, happy birthday. And so, we doing it. I'm doing it Sunday because Monday is no work, MLK Day. So it is the weekend of service. So I'll be at First Corinthian Baptist Church on actually Saturday the 16th with a vaccine van. And we're going to be doing COVID testing. And First Corinthians has a whole church full of brand new coats. So if you know anybody that need coats, I'm talking about they didn't want no old coats. All brand new coats, right. And they're going to be giving families 2. If you have 2 children, you just come with the birth certificate and you get 2 coats plus a coat for yourself. So First Corinthians is located at 1912 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard on the corner of 116th Street. So I'll be out there with the COVID testing and the vaccine, but the coats will be given out. So if you know anybody in need of a brand new coat, adult or child or
I know
infant.
A family of 4 girls. Could they get the coats, the 4 girls?
Yes, they sure can. Send them to First Corinthian Baptist Church, and I will get more information. But I know they are giving out coats, brand new coats.
Nice.
So we want people to know that and share that information. And I guess they're going to be giving them because they got a lot. People were very generous with those coats. Yeah. So shout out Reverend Lakeisha and Pastor Warren, who came out to my booster Saturdays that I had this Saturday. They came and got their booster shots. And so we, with National Black Leadership Commission on Health and, of course, Brand Elevation Marketing and Can't Be Silenced, we boosted up people, and we did it on December 11th, too. I had booster Saturdays, or was it the 11th? Yeah, it was 11th. And we did 46 people, but this weekend we only did 31 because a lot of the staff has COVID.
Right.
So,
And just for, and we have a big audience today. I mean, I've been in 5 chat rooms. It's been absolutely crazy. So for me to not say this would be criminal, but if anybody is hungry, if you go to 1955 2nd Avenue, it's in conjunction with Boardwalk Global Media, Washington Houses, and Mi Gente Mi People podcast.
Yes.
There's a refrigerator on the street that you can go there and just get some food.
Yes.
Or you just walk up to the refrigerator and take some food out. And
we got a refrigerator on my block too, 120th and Lenox.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. And we got food from Gotham Food, and they're in partnership with restaurants all over New York City. So the meals are actually restaurant meals that you can just go to the refrigerator. If you're hungry, you're cold, you're hungry, go to the refrigerator, take some food out, and go ahead and do what you do. Big shout out to Claudia C.C. Perez, who spearheaded that program for them, and we've been doing about 10,000 meals a week.
That's why she always trying to give me food.
That's why she's always trying to give you food.
Can you come and get some food, Maria?
Yeah.
I'm like, do I look like I'm hungry?
Because she got so much food. We have so much food. So
I want to shout out some people in the room. Oh, my cousin from Greenville, South Carolina, cousin Janice. And Ruthie Lotil said she wants to help. Look at Gwen Kingsbury. If you are in Washington Heights, there's a refrigerator at 181st Street in Fort Washington. All right, Tracy Washington. I know Tracy Bagley. She does Not Here and Now. That's the same Tracy Bagley. Because she interviewed me twice for World AIDS Day. So shout out to Tracy Bagley.
Big shout out to Deborah Coco. She wanted me to tell you.
Yes, Deborah Coco. She's doing her documentary, and I'm going to film and talk about my sister and the incredible work she does. My First Corinthian Baptist Church family's on here. Ruthie, of course you're going to be helping me. Definitely. Christine Grant. Oh, Michelle Morgan, Live, Love, and Serve. That's my sister too, Michelle Morgan. And let me see who else. I'm Janice Marie Robinson. Hey, Janice. June Moses, Renee Mickens, another one of my true followers and always pushing out. Her and Daria Farnell. June Moses, yes. June Moses, I'm going to make sure you and Erica are linked up. And, everybody that's in the chat. Nikki Y. Hey, Nikki Y. Somebody already put their blue on their screen on their face. Wait, is that Nikki? Nicole that always does the shows with me.
My soror, Nikki Y, that's her.
I think it says, I think that's your soror. Diane Cameron. Shout out Denise Thomas. It's so many people. Thank y'all for tuning in.
It was really nice.
Listen, we're gonna have part 2 next week. So tell a friend, tell a foe. I mean,
And
tell
a friend or foe.
Tell a friend or foe.
Right? They need the information too.
That's right. Tell them too.
All right. So
we have all the information up for next week's podcast. We're going to be using the same Zoom information. Same Zoom link. So you don't have to be trying to run around and try to find the Zoom link. Yes. And Erica Lucille Ewing, thank you so much, girl.
Thank you.
You are the best. Really I got a shout out to Shauna Pace from Miss Black American Princess. Yes. She is the director of Drew Hamilton Center, and she opens her doors to all nonprofits. She has hosted many of my HIV talks and COVID talks, and that's a soror too. You know what? I think I want to have her come on too. She'll be on with us too, talking about young people and the signs and some of the things that me and her talk about young people and the parents not seeing any signs. Shout out to Eva, Miss McFadden. She also is a powerful sister that has a big domestic violence organization too. So I want everybody to tune in next week, give people an opportunity to speak. And but Erica Lucille Ewing will be the main focus of our conversation next week because she got so much info. Oh my God, I don't even know what to say. I wish we had more time. We could talk about this all night.
And make sure you all subscribe to the YouTube page, which is called Groovy Track. That's GROOVEY TRAC. And that's the YouTube page. And you guys are there. Please go on to YouTube and subscribe. That's helpful because we're trying to really get off of Facebook because there's no money in Facebook. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to transition over to YouTube. So if you guys can, please subscribe to the YouTube page, which is Groovy Track, GROOVEY TRAC. And I just put it in the chat.
And make sure you're also, if you'd like to make a donation to what I'm doing on Sunday, you can go to can'tbesilence.org. That's my website. And make a donation, or you can call me up, Cash App me, Zelle me, whatever you want to do, and make a donation towards Sunday's event. It'll be from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. We're going to have DJ bring him out there, too. He's going to be in the cold, freezing, but he'll be all right because he have his edibles on the side. Oh, did I say that?
Don't forget about Mad Wednesday.
Mad Wednesday. We will be celebrating. Oh, my God, Rock. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Lord, I forgot. You had a birthday. When was your birthday?
January 2nd.
Okay, well, it happened. He was born on January 2nd, but he's celebrating on January 19th. So, Erica, we need you to come out to Mad Wednesday on the 19th, too. Erica lived down the block around the corner.
Oh, yeah, definitely come out. We have Baba T, who's in from Australia. He's actually here.
Baba T.
He's here in the studio. He's going to perform that night. We have a host of other performances. And like I said on The Real Discussion, for the first time ever, I'm going to sing. At Mad Wednesday, I'm going to sing.
I want to hear it. I want to hear what you're going to sing first.
No. I already discussed it with Carl Brown. We already got this thing going. I'm going to sing.
How you going to go to Carl Brown, my keyboard player behind my back?
Because I need him to play this song right. So I'm going to sing on Mad Wednesday. I ain't doing Shake What Your Mama Gave You. I ain't doing Say What and bounce. I ain't doing none of that. I'm singing. I'm going to sing me a
Erica,
song.
you need to become, and Logan too, y'all all need to be there at Mad Wednesday at the Shrine on next Wednesday because Rock Logic, I don't know what he's going to sing.
I'm scared.
Me too. Because I ain't never heard him say, I heard Shake What Your Mama Gave You.
I'm going to sing me a song for the first time ever. I'm 55. I'm like, why not?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
All right, so good night, everybody. Don't forget, go to www.can'tbesilence.org. Leave me a message. Also, you can leave me a message on Facebook or whatever your transportation of
Instagram.
Yeah, social media, Instagram, Davis_Maria13. Facebook is Maria Antoinette. Don't forget, hashtag Maria Davis, hashtag Can't Be Silence Podcast, hashtag Got to Stop. LLC, hashtag
Boardwalk Global Media,
hashtag
The Real Discussion with Rock Logic, Gary Fax and Robin,
hashtag Brand Elevation Marketing.
I'm just saying.
His hashtag all of us. Hashtag Erica Lucille Ewing.
That's right.
So I love you. I love you. God bless you. And when you close your eyes tonight, make sure that you pray for not only yourself and your family, but pray also. We had such a disastrous fire
Yesterday.
in the Bronx.
Yeah, over by T-Bot Avenue,
Yes,
181st Street.
19 people died.
Yeah.
So please do not leave on your electric heaters when you leave home. Hopefully you don't have electric heater.
Right.
Hopefully your landlord is giving you enough heat.
Yeah.
But if you have to get a heater, please don't get an electric one. And if a fire starts in your place, please shut the door.
Yes.
Because they left the door open, and that's how the fire was able to
Just spread the
spread.
smoke.
Yes.
The smoke, right?
But Maria, I didn't have heat for 8 weeks last winter, and they gave us an electric heater.
Space heaters, yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, the thing of it that people don't realize is when you live in those buildings, your door to your apartment is a fire door. You gotta close it. Yeah. A lot of the people that suffered the injuries in that tragedy didn't die from burning; they died from smoke inhalation.
Yes.
Because it tore through the building.
They said one mother went in and got one of her children, and then the other one she couldn't get out because she was just consumed by smoke.
Yeah.
So please, when you go into bed, don't take things for granted. Make sure the oven is off. And we know we have some people that heat their homes with the oven. I used to years ago too, but that's not the real way to do it. Call 311 and tell them you need not an electric heater, but something that blows warm air, that's protected inside, that cuts off, if it gets too hot, or it's some spark is coming out of it.
Or if it tilts over.
Yeah.
That it cuts off. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So please, they remember before they used to do fire classes. They don't even do them things no more. We have gotten so.
Remember Stop, Drop, and Roll? That was part of the fire class.
Stop, drop, and roll.
That's
Right. And we don't do none of that anymore because we've just arrived. Everything is just. I want to go to space. I want to spend thousands of dollars, $100,000 going. What the hell you want to go to space for? Ain't nobody up there. I want to be with some.
That's the point. I want to be by myself.
Well, then you gonna really be by yourself for real. So God bless each and every one of you. Love you. Thank you for supporting this important conversation. Don't forget, we will be back here next week with Erica Lucille Ewing and Gotta Stop LLC. So God bless you. I love you, and see you next week. Thank you, Erica.
Monday.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
This is some soothing music. This is by my sister, Deshawn Nicole. This is her hit song. I had the opportunity to go to Cutting Room to hear her. I love her. And she talks about so much stuff, stuff she's gone through. So some soothing music. Follow her, Deshawn Nicole, on all social media platforms.